All right, and welcome to Anonymous Bites Back, episode 127. We are back. Um, I'll leave it up to John. John, you want to introduce our guest?
Yeah. Well, tonight is all about the situation in Brazil, with the elections and the corruption and all the problems arising there right now. And we got an amazing guest in tonight, Antonio from the scene in there. He's from Brazil, and he will help us get some insight into the local events.
I appreciate the opportunity to talk for the international community, and I really appreciate that space in this show and this program. I thank you all.
All
Okay,
right.
yeah, well, welcome to Joe. I mean, we're very honored to have you in as well. So. I don't know.
So,
Maybe we should explain a bit about the situation. Then
Yeah,
maybe.
first of all, I will be I will wish to apologize for my difficulty to speaking and sometimes to understanding some words I don't have usually speaking in English in my culture and in my normal days. So I will appreciate if you all guys, the watchers, and you guys have some patience with me. And when you think that it's a good moment, I start to explain the history that starts in science 2013 and some popular protest here and some movement of the politics of my country, and we start in this year fascist. I don't know how to pronunciate it, but we have some dark moments in these elections in this year. So I have so much things to say.
Bolsonaro was stabbed last week, was it? Week before last?
Yeah, actually, Bolsonaro, it's a politician and will be politician for the last 13 years. He is not new in the politician here. In all of this, he's here is on the power and the government. He's don't do nothing about the poors and any project him can do anything. Sorry, my English, guys. I'm trying
Are you doing
to.
fine?
Thanks. I'm a little bit nervous, but what I'm trying to say that the Bolsonaro is not new. Is not new figure here. The people in this year call it from him because they started some fear like communist aim, some communist danger alert to the population, but it is not true. The fear is because we have in the last 10 years government by left side party. I don't know the word in English, but it's some called work party. This Partido dos Trabalhadores in Portuguese. So the rich people of here and the farmers that control of the economy here mobilize the population to be against this part and call it this part like attack communist and something like this this lies. So in these elections, we are seeing a lot of fake news on both of sides, and the population are confused. Anyone knows who believes it, and whose sides believes.
Wasn't there a guy? I was watching a video that Mark was showing that was a good candidate for election for presidency, but He was arrested.
Sorry, can you speak just a little
Oh.
more slowly?
Well, there was Lula.
Lula are jail right now because actually the situation of Lula, it's something hard to explain because some part of the population like him a lot and don't believe it that he are corrupted, and some guys here believe it that some kind of savior, you know. And I think that is not true because the state of the most power company here in Brazil, it's stated and called Petrobras. There's, you guys have probably heard about this company. This company movement, the most part of the economy here, it's something of oil and gasoline and this kind of stuff. And in the last year have some government operation for the federal police. It's a version of the FBI, but here in Brazil, and they discovered a lot of actually a lot of cases of corruption involved that the party, the PTs, this left side politicians. And the problem is the corruption and these policial investigations made the population afraid by the left side, and this irrational fear about the left side of the politician turns on in these elections the fascism back, you know. The people are hurting yourselves and having some discussions are really aggressive here, and then we have some notice of the people hurting or dying. We have actually 2 dies registered of the media right now. So the Bolsonaro don't manifestate any opinion about these dies, and the only one pronouncement of him about these dies, it's out of control of him. It's something like he is not worried about, or he's not he don't think that he's responsible, you know. But in this speech, the Bolsonaro have a behavior really aggressive, homophobic, racist, and have some nice videos on the internet. I think that all in Portuguese, but if anyone can understand, and if you guys want that show some videos, we can find the Bolsonaro talking about really literally shoot the opposition. The first movement of the Bolsonaro, it's the open the population for get your own guns, to arm up the population. And because because this speech of public security and guns for the population, he's really the favorite right now, because the people are afraid by the communists, the people are afraid by the security problems like favelas, traffic, drugs, and the Venezuela crisis are afraid in all the scenario, the national scenario, you know. And the people on my city, I live on Rio, and we already live in military government right now. The city are occupied by militaries and the army, and the population more poor are more affected, you know, because the army don't looking for white people, don't looking for the looking good men, you know. They attack and enter in the houses without mandate, and open bags of the children to go into the school, you know. So the situations of Rio, it's some kind of beginner of scenario to hold the Brazil, you know. We have I don't know the name in English, but the leader of Christian church. What is his name in English?
The Pope?
Pope Francis.
It's like a pope, but
bishop?
it's I don't
Archbishop.
know. It's a Sunday morning Christian guys. You know, I don't know the word, but the major of the city. It's comproved and assumed religious, and we have to the last year for now most above 15%, 50%. Sorry, I don't know the number in English. 50% of our government are made in by religious people and made it by great farmers. When I say great, I'm trying to say in the Middle Age when Europe are starting the navigations, they come here and divided my country for the Portuguese one, you know. And if you push the tree genealogical tree, these guys are the same family that the division of the Europe Earth here. You guys understand me? I'm clear.
Yes, I
I'm
understand
sorry.
you.
You're fine. Yeah, you're good.
Sorry about my bad English, but I'm really trying. So what I'm trying to say is the government right now it's completely government by religious one, by the great farmers that every in the history on the country is the same families that control the farm areas, you know. And my country have all the economy based in these farmers, you know. We don't export technological things, and we don't export some industry things. We just export from the world the products of these great big family farmers, you know. And this made my country refund prisoner of these decisions. Is the same occurred in the 60 years. I'm sorry, my English. We already have a military government in the past on the Cold War. You know, Russia and then USA are trying to prove war is the best way to control your people. And since that, when this event occurring in the world, the government of United States financial a lot of military governments in America Latina, you know, happen in Argentina, happen in Chile, happen in all Latin American countries to protect the population from some communist danger, you know. So it's something like this happen again. We have some events before the military government trying to keep up the control of the government. We have the all population approve this behavior, you know, because the population are afraid of the communists, are afraid by the security, because the population actually don't have too much education, you know, at all. I think my country, it's just now in the last 5 years stop the I don't know the word in English, but how I say when people cannot read.
Illiterate.
Illiterate.
Yeah, illiterate. The most part of the population. We have some area in Brazil with that specific area are it's a very interesting because we have two great zones in here in Brazil. We have the north of the Brazil that's controlled by it's composed by most part of the poor population, you know, and we have the south that we have the more the big cities and the big industries, and in the 19 years, the 90 years, the people of the poor region all came for the south because don't have a job in this region. The people starting to die because don't have a eat. We have in this north region, it's above the tropic. That means in this region are some kind of low rain and some kind of deserts. I don't know the right word in English, but have some specific name for the biome. You know, but don't have too much water, and this problem can be easily fixed. But the government purposely made this region very, very, very poor, and made this part of the population works on the big farmers, you know, the big farms that controlled by the same the same people that have control of the government. So in 2002 happens the Lula, the president or jail, the ex-president that's now jail. So this story about this president, it's Lula. It's sorry, the word in English for the people to work in the great industries like opera, the proletarian. I don't know the word. He's operario in Portuguese. Uh, Whatever. It's Lula don't have too much in time in 2002. Lula is the first one president that don't have school or college, and the start your career political career in the syndicates of the workers of the Brazil, the workers of the farmers, the workers of the industries, and in the 2002 he gets the president, and take the president in to for 3 years, you know, 13 years for the same president Lula, and actually for the same part partners. It's the right word, partners of the organization of people that voluntary to get the elections part. I don't know, the Republicans and Democrats, what the name of these groups.
Political party.
Political party, okay. So the political party, work party, that's something like that, the name, have the control to the 13 years, that 3 years, sorry. And in this period they have a lot of social programs that trying to get this north zone to the college. They open a lot of colleges to Brazil, public college, free for the people. The actual candidate of President Haddad, it's the name, it's a rival of the Bolsonaro, starts to work like a education ministry. It's right. Can understand. They had that in this government of Lula, work like education ministry, and start some program that comproperly put the people on the college. You know, I am the proof of this. If don't have these programs, the social programs to give the population study and information, I never will be capable to pay my studies. You know, the Brazil science, the discoverment of my country, it's for elites. All the social structures are made for the elites, and in this government, Lula. Uh, it's some kind to prejudice the middle class, the richest one, and in the social programs give assistencialism and free money called Bolsa Familia. It's a social program that gives some it's a 100 or 120 reais, the local money, to help the families to eat, to go into the school. You know, it's some kind of helply money that cause angry of the middle class and angry of the richest one. We have some improved of the labor rights. You know, we have a lot of people and proletarians conquered in this period. So in 2013 we have some great event here in Brazil. We have a lot of people going to the streets and reivindicate upping for the bus passage. You know, we have some price of the passage of bus. They up 20 cents of the passage, and this mobilized all the population in 2013. Uh, because of that, and science of this date, the people of Brazil are really mess, because all the people start to care about the politicians, and all the people have some opinion, and in this moment upping up the Jair Bolsonaro. In this movement in 2013, we have a genuine and truly the population, if no political parties and don't have any leader. It's just the population against the government, and it's the most beautiful thing that I see since I was born. So in this moment, some kind of the richest one, the people are the government. The richest one, it's a great detail. The richest one, even in the Lula government, don't left the government. You know, Lula, it's amazing fact, because Lula can be a good option for the richest, because they have some comproved corruptions, things about the Lula, and the great companies like Odebrecht. It's very famous on the operation, and the policial operation here called Lava Jato. I don't know if you guys are familiar of the term, but in 2013, because the population, all the great media here shows that 1 of 4 Brazilians are in the streets rebelliating and covering the government. The government in this moment, it's of the Dilma herself. The Dilma herself, it's a candidate that Lula appoints to a new continuity of he works. You get it, guys? Sorry, my English. You are getting
Good.
it?
Mm-hmm.
You're
I
great,
am.
man.
Yes.
Thank you. So, in this period of Dilma herself, the people go to the streets, and the richest one that already have in the government look that Dilma figure and see a fragile public figure, you know, that don't have the same population truth or like Lula. It's a different person, and the people don't love love Lula, Dilma Rousseff. So in this moment, after 2013, the richest one manipulated. This is so clear that I every time be shocked by the people don't see don't see that, but the richest one take the social mobilization, like the people on the streets, and duration at this angry popular angry to Dilma herself, like she uh, have a responsibility of all the problems of the Brazil. It's clear that they have corruption, and we don't have the great government or something like that. But even of this, the richest one manipulate the population to remove this president. So in the last year, in 2014, the Dilma Rousseff have suffered an impeachment, and the Michel Temer, it's a now president in this moment, don't elect anyone electing him, anyone voting him, but removing the Dilma Rousseff, and this guy are in the power right now. So since this guy are in the power, my city have are suffering a military intervention that call it him call it a military intervention, like a free translated of the Portuguese. So we are living here in the hill, all the biggest security problems. We have narco traffic really strong in the favelas. We have a really regions of my city that are really in control of the narco traffic. We have favelas like Jacarezinho. We have favelas like Mandela. We have actually two great factions here in the Rio. That two factions of narco trafficking are constantly in war with themselves. It's called CV, Comando Vermelho. It's the free translation is like a red command that the red command to start when remember the 60 years when the USA start to manipulate the America Latin countries like Argentina, Chile, and Brazil to take a military government to defend by a communist, the evil of the communist. On this period, they put the political prisoners in the same prisons of the narco traffic prisons. So in this moment, born a faction of the criminality called Falange Vermelha. It's a free translation. It's something like a pain red, and this faction quickly transformed on organization crime. And we have the other faction that begins and some discussion about this great one faction. So the Rio have these areas controlled by the narco traffic, and the population see. When I talk the population, I talk the common black guy, the Brazilian favela living that don't have any interested to participate of the narco traffic and trying to get your normal life. This kind of people, the normal people of the Brazil, are in the middle of the army and the narco traffic. The people, if if the human are black, they are called a narco trafficant in the exactly time, you know. Our prison, our prisons here are the most part of the the carcenary, the carcenary, it's a right word, the prison guys, the prison humans that are in the jail, uh almost of them, it's a non-violent criminal, you know. It's just a drug user, not a violent crimer. I am being clear. I'm talking right.
Mhm.
You guys are understanding. So the afraid of the narco traffic, the afraid of the communist, afraid again, and the afraid of the difference that we have in the world, all the world, just knowing just here in Brazil, but in all the world we have uh, gay representations on the media and the government. Some countries are legalized the married, and this kind of freedom of the gay community, and the accession of the freedom of the gay community, the racism to think that all black guys are all the black are a narco trafficant, and all the poor or all the favela living are the narco traffic, and the politician the opposition of the politics, the Lula partner and the Dilma, whatever. These movement are based the speech of Jair Bolsonaro. The Jair Bolsonaro used this speech to get some popularity and fast and quickly have approves of the almost all the part of the population, even the poor people. The poor people are convinced, are approved because the poor people feels like some kind of protection on him or him speech. Him speech in stop the criminality and zero tolerance about the crimes, and or him prison and murder. The murders unclear. The president are approved to kill the murders. If you are raper or if you are murder, the president have a speech that within this government of him, this kind of crimes will be sentenced by death. So these movement are coming back the fascism here in my country. When I say fascism, I don't know if I am pronouncing right. I'm really sorry, but when I say fascism, I am saying the population who approves the Jair Bolsonaro are really and literally fighting with the opposition, fighting like hurting with the cross of Hitler. I don't know the name in English. In Portuguese, this name
Swastika.
is hard to say. Swastika. Thank you.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of cases of the violence and the great violence, even death, to the supporters of the Bolsonaro. And I am great to stay here to get some international help. We have some information about the other anonymous movements, and we get the some value data about the responsible of the intervention military on Rio, called Villa Boas. It's General Villa Boas. It's the responsible of the intervention military on Rio. And now Rio, it's It's a great scenario because it's some kind of start the plane of the whole control of the Brazil. Here in Rio, your major are religious one. On the speech of Bolsonaro are sorry, I will speak in Portuguese and will try to translate again. Brasil acima, Brasil acima de tudo, Deus acima de todos. It's in the free translation. It's Brazil above. It's up. It's right. Or it's under. It's Brazil above all and God above everything. That is the slogan of the political program. You know, so the God speech, the religious, politicians, and the great farmers, and all these guys are really taking the government and will be. Jair Bolsonaro are really more strong in the researches of intentions of vote from Haddad, the rival, and the same party of Lula. So the election and the accession to Jair Bolsonaro to the power of Brazil, it's already a reality. We cannot thinking that this can be happen because it's already happened in Rio. This guy have some plane and start to play in Rio from some like of test for in this year to take control of the all the country, and this is the situation in a nutshell. In a nutshell, no, I talked a lot. Sorry.
Well, that was a big history lesson for everyone. I mean, I think
It sounds like the martial law is due to the unrest and all the fighting between the political parties.
Mm-hmm. Some things that I think that is nice to say. It's if you came and the history of my country, the history of the Brazil, it's amazing. The people of here are too ideas from the own people, you know, because we have a lot of people that sons, I don't know the name, but have the people here are sons of the Europe people that came here to take control of my country since the imperialism and colonial times, you know. And other part of the population are the sons of the slaves. Well, the most part of my population are the sons of the slaves. We don't have or we don't have any information about our past because the people of the Africa, the people that came of here, have your culture and your history erased by the story of the Brazil. We don't have any information about them. Only we have an information of this kind of people, that these kind of people are slaves. You know, I don't know to talk, but this kind of information is very important because the racial situation here, it's a really intense. You know, the white people are all concentrated in the south, the most rich part. Rio are part of this rich part, you know. But even in Rio, we can see the color of difference in the regions, you know. It is something like a very visible. If you guys or anyone that watching us came from Rio, probably came from Copacabana and the rich places that government purposely show like a visit card of Rio. You know, like the Rio are the Christ statuette and nice beaches and nice views, but the reality it's the black people who's descend of the sons of the slaves that who building all the city are on the ugly and dangerous and very far of this beautiful views and these beautiful beaches. You know, the most of part of the population are in the favelas. And it is a reality. I don't know how Jair Bolsonaro get the support of even the poor, and we have this great difficult right now. It's very difficult to explain something like a population that in the last 10 years start to read, and the last 5 years start to get internet access. It's a very difficult to explain from these people who is the fake news, what is the fake news, what is the truly fact, what is the communism, what happened in the past and time on the USA promote the military governments here. And so we have a lot of challenges here because it's a really hard to explain something like this. It's the situation here. It's so difficult to understand, and the people have purposely no access to information. Our schools are really if you catch the tests of our schools, if you read the content of what the people here are learning in the schools, are shocking. It's I think that the other countries learn these things, and I don't know, the children, 10 years children, uh, uh, we have all the population here, all the population here who get some school. This school, it's a really great fake. It don't have any information, don't have any history about our past, like our country, or like the people who lives, or who control the money, or who control the lands. The people don't know because the really are sabotaged. That it's a purposely a plan of the government to make the citizens here without any information. So we have a lot of the challenges to enfront, to fight right now. The first challenge is getting help of the international community. We need a lot of propaganda. We need that all the countries are talking about the Brazil, talk about the back of the fascism like a political way, and we have specifically hackativism people. We need a lot of help to force the attack on the General Villa Boas, that we have already the data. We have a lot of information like email, telephone numbers, and a lot of information, really a lot of information called by unknown info. I don't know the pronunciated, but these guys collected from the military systems these informations that we can use to attack and show from the population all the chats and the photos and the dialogues. We need here in the Brazil in this moment something like WikiLeaks again. We need some kind of uh, we need a leaks of informations from this plane to turn the Brazil a religious, the first religious government from the America Latina, you know? Sorry, guys, I talk a lot.
It's
Sorry.
okay.
You're fine, dude.
Get
Yeah,
the in out.
yeah, get it out there, man.
It's hard to interrupt if you're a guy giving all this incredible information about your country. So
Well, and I think that across the board, we need to keep. It's unfortunate that WikiLeaks was, one of the few outlets. We definitely need places where people can freely get out information, leaks, and not have it come back at them. It's something that's so desperately needed in kind of the world around us.
yeah, WikiLeaks focus more on like the big Western powers or like like America, Russia, and in Europe. But that we actually need these platforms all around the world, of course.
Well, how about the Museum of Brazil?
Yeah.
What is being handled with that? Was it found out whoever done it? What if any of it could be restored?
The fire museum you are talking about.
Yes.
So, this event of this fire museum are top of the iceberg from the college that remember when I talk in the last government we have built a lot of schools and we built a lot of kinds of information and cultural institutions. So, and in this period, we have some financial to keep going these programs. So science I'm not saying that the things are perfect when the Dilma herself are in the government, but and science she a fast impeachment of the power we don't have any really anyone financial to education and the cultural programs and this kind of stuff. What happened? It's Michel Temer frozen. I don't know if it's a free translation, but he froze the money from the education, security, and a lot of programs of the Brazil frozen that money frozen. It's not growing in it's what I mean, don't have more money to college or museums and this kind of stuff, and no only the school and education and culture programs, the security too, and a lot of programs, because from the Michel Temer said we have a problem to, I don't know the name in English, I think that have some fancy words to say, the money of you pay to old people to stop to work. What's the name of this kind of money? When you are old, you
Oh,
stop to
Social
work.
Security. Yeah, it's what they give old people. They stop working.
Yeah, the social security, I guess. The Michel Temer said that we don't have much money to pay from the old people. So because this region, for this region, they stopped to to inject money for all various programs, the culture, the security, and a lot of programs. So and the 200 sorry 2011 we have stopping to get money, invest money in the culture programs and the school programs and this kind of stuff. And finally, all the Michel Temer government, he stopped to send money. So the museums, the college, the a lot of programs are really getting trash. You know, the most constituent, the best college that we have here in Rio, called the Federal University from the Rio de Janeiro, UFRJ is the name, and it's the best college. We have the best grades, you know, the best uh, the best scientific programs and this kind of stuff. And now this college are really bad things. We don't have paper in the bathroom, don't have water in to drink, you know, and have thieves on the campus. We have a really great problem because don't have money to pay even the people to remove the trash. I don't know the name of the professionals that remove the trash in English, but even these guys don't are working anymore because don't have money to them, you know. So the fire of the museum, it's the top of the iceberg that happened here. The fire of the museum, it's something that they cannot don't they cannot hide of the people, no? That the people are talking about the museum. We have some great things, and we had some great things in the museum. Even the most old human in the America Latin, called Lucia, with the school of the first woman of the America Latina, and we lost it all in this fire. But this fire is not the it's not the fire that destroyed our education. It's the frozen of the programs. We don't have any money to the programs of the education and this kind of stuff. And the passage of years, the things are more expensive. It's inflation. It's obviously, I don't have any economy degree, but I know that in the passage of years, these things are more expensive for the government. It's clear for me. But the Michel Temer stopped the money, don't grow in money anymore. We are working in the education programs with the same money that in 2011. No, so the fire are it's a like it's a it's something that we expected from, you know. No, don't have money to pay people to check if the organization are okay, if the things are working like like will work. No, sorry, my English. We have a lot of cases, not of fire, but a lot of cases of institutions of school education teacher stopping to work. Even the colleges that the last government building are stopping, and it's the middle class, the opposition, the the team of people of the Jair Bolsonaro called of fail, that building these colleges and these museums are a fail, but isn't a fail. They stop to send money, you know. Sorry.
That's okay. Hello?
Oh, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, yeah, good.
Okay, so these funds to these social welfare programs are like pretty much frozen right now. But they do still exist. Like this Bolsa Familia, like they say it's the largest program in the world of this kind. It has to do with the education too. This is the education thing you're talking about, right?
Yeah, the Bolsa Família, it's a social program that gave give some money to the poor families. You need to have some you don't I don't know the numbers, but you need to be poor or comprovate that you are poor and have some nice some nice supervision that and you can get some social assistance of the government. It's not a lot of money, but this money, this social program kids are really angry of the middle class, you know, because in the mind of the middle class they are paying these social programs, you know. The middle class, the rich ones, thinks that it's these classes of richest guys that paying the poor ones. And the Jair Bolsonaro, it's a great defensor. Almost in the first round of these elections, they he called that stop this social program. And I know that social program, and it's necessary for a lot of people to eat, you know. The last government we exit the Brazil leaves of the world map of Hungary. The people on the north zone are in the 10 years ago. The people are dying of don't have anything to to eat, you know. And the Jair Bolsonaro now in the second round is trying to to talk about more the Bolsa Familia. He's uh, trying to not saying that we remove the program, but it's what our supporters expected. You know, the supporters of the Jair Bolsonaro expected a lot the end of this social program.
Yeah, I was reading a bit about it. It says like that like over 80% of this like went to families who make half of the minimum income, and they are like really in poverty.
Mhm.
And it actually helped to reduce the inequality in Brazil with over 20% since it started. So, but it was actually started by this Lula da Silva guy, and then they get rid of him and they freeze the the finances of these programs.
Mhm. Mhm.
This is
The middle
incredible.
class accused this government to make all the country more poor for help the poor, you know. So the Jair Bolsonaro get this speech of the mind of the middle class that this money are sorry. What I mean it's the middle class thinks that people are supported by Bolsa Familia are incapable to get some job, or are lazy, you know, some kind of the stereotypes that the poor people have suffering since this program are be created. But it's the first time on the history since this program are been created that can be over, you know. And this social program are that reason from most part of the people start to study, start to get in better jobs, you know. You remove this poor people from the misery zone, you know, the people really poor. And then this solved the lot of problem. The last government, the government of Lula, have a lot of haters, and I can't understand these haters, because we have the scandal of the corruption involving the big company Petrobras. And I know why the population gets some afraid of this kind of government, but the ascension of the Nazi, the ascension of the fascism here are the problem. Really, are the problem because the. I'm sorry, I think that I lost my my researching my. Sorry, I think that I lost what I saying, but what I'm trying to say that because this these problems of the problems by the Lula government, the people are supported the Jair Bolsonaro, who this fascism speech are moving the population against the defensors of the Lula, and now Lula is jailed since the last year. I don't know if the is in this year or in the last year, but the Lula are jailed, and all the world thinks that he are a political prisoner, because don't have a, a strong proof that the president are involved in all this corruption. This corruption is more like a great companies who taking the great companies who take in building the streets and the building of the cities, like civil engineers. I don't know if I am clear, but don't have some it's not like a Lula necessarily. It's like all the government. And what happened is the Lava Jato. It's the great operation of the politicians, the cops, no? Like FBI of here in Brazil. This operation reveals of the population a lot of the politicals, the corrupt politicals, and all the social hates are focused to the political partners in the government. All the hate are focused by Lula and the working partners, and the people don't realize of the all the system are guilty. The system elect some kind of group to get the vote and keep government the Brazil like never happens. They taking the Lula like the responsible the like a leader of the movement of the corruption on Brazil, and put him in the jail and called Lula, like Lula supported others government like Venezuela, de Maduro, like Hugo Chavez in the Chile, and take this communism hate and bring the populations against the poor and against the workers partner and this stuff. Sorry, I'm talking a lot and I'm lost in my words. English it's a difficult language for me.
It makes perfect sense what you're saying. Like, when you call it like the communism, I'm thinking about you're just talking about like a very big poor population and many workers in poverty who are like in a war against like a small rich elite in Brazil. And
Yeah.
but how do you feel about his replacement then, this Fernando Haddad? He's also running. He's from the same
So
party. From the
it's the same party, and I don't trust in any politics. I think that we have some kind of moment in the world, in the technological accents, that we can dream in some kind of political system that we don't need we don't need the same structure that the politicians are. What I mean that we are discovering right now the blockchain. We are discovering some ways to eliminate the eliminate some group to carry us. The population probably in the few days, I hope, in few years, I hope, can govern your own country by yourselves. I don't trust in Fernando Haddad, but I think that anyone can any guy, any partner that can try to stop the Jair Bolsonaro, I will appreciate. You know, the Jair Bolsonaro, it's the most it's the largest uh, I will trying to find some words. Sorry, the Jair Bolsonaro is the since the 60 years is the most probably to back Brazil a military government, you know. And I don't know if the world knows what happens here in the military governments in the 60 years, but the population are really silenciated. The people die by the government, and anyone see again the people. We have here mothers that can bury that cannot bury your sons yet, you know, since the 60 years. We have population and citizens jailed because we had some kind of books in home, or some kind of if you are denunciated, if some people look for you and denunciate you for the army, call it, oh, this guy it's a communist, you are instantly jailed. You know, the 60 years in the Brazil are really aggressive and repressive. The population suffered a lot, and the middle class thinks that we pass from the economic moment, good from Brazil. Né? We have some kind of people that call it this military government good. It's the same elite. It's the same people that government govern. You know, not from the poor. So since the 60 years, we don't have any. We don't are too close to this happening again. And Fernando Haddad are a politician like any other. You know, he's a professor. It's a sounds like a good guy. You know, I don't know actually. I know that the Fernando Haddad are responsible from the education program in the Lula government. So some kinds of the test to ingress in the college, he called it Enem. It's remember the poor part of the Brazil is in the north, the rich parts in the south, and Brazil is a big huge country. And this Fernando Haddad made some one unique exam, the one unique test to ingress for all the public college. Here in the Brazil, it's a little bit different in the rest of the world, but the public colleges are most liked for the population instead like the private ones, you know. So for a poor man, study in the public in the public college in the 10 years ago sounds like impossible, because only the richest can study a lot for pay the test, specifically test for a specifically college to trying to ingress, and have a lot of colleges, and it's all expensive to get prepared to take the exam and ingress the college. The Fernando Haddad made that one system and one unique test in the whole the Brazil, in the same day realize in the same exam, and with the grade of this exam, you can try to ingress in the college. So I like the program of the education, but I don't like any politicians. No, I don't think that we need really politicians, but Fernando Haddad represent a good choice instead of Jair Bolsonaro. The problem is the Haddad are of the same political party are the same of the Lula. Lula have a lot of angry of the population because think with me, the population have too much study. The population are really new in the web platforms and the access of internet, and the government jail the president. So the people here call the Lula not like a prisoner politician, like some guy who was jailed from the political intentions. The people here see the Lula like a thief, like a corruption guy, like this prison are approved, from the most part of the population. So this turn the things a lot of complicated because Jair Bolsonaro can be supported by the angry from the political party of Lula. You get understand it? It's not about Jair Bolsonaro. It's about anti-Lula, to not like Lula. So the Jair Bolsonaro have a vote of the fascist one, that the speech of homophobic, racist, and all these things, and are supported by the people don't like the Lula government because Haddad is the same political partner of the Lula.
When they arrested Lula, I believe it was for corruption. What was the charge?
One minute, please. Just 1 minute. So repeat, please.
Lula was arrested. What was the charge against him?
The charge, the accusation. Is it?
Well, yeah, until he's convicted, yeah.
What is the
Being charged with allegation.
So the allegation of the prisoner is because him had some kind of illegal. It's a kind of farm, So it's not a great big farm. I don't know the word in English, but here in Portuguese we have a middle of the great and big large farm, and the small one. The Lula had to remember when I say the scandal of these constructions companies, the corruption system of these construction companies. These companies gave some kind of gift, I guess, from the Lula in the city of the poor part of Brazil called Atibaia, and the Lula, I don't know if him accepted or if him just put on the name of the other people to make himself safe, but the accusation is this kind of farm, the little farm or the middle farm, gave it from the Lula from illegal ways, and this is the accusation who is jailed. We have this problem of the corruption of the estatal company called Petrobras, the company from the oil and gasoline, and we had a lot of we have a lot of problems in this company, but not necessarily not necessarily spotted by Lula. We have a Netflix series. I don't know the name in English, but we have some show in the Netflix that explain the same guy that made the famous film called Elite Troop. Some you guys watching this film someday. It's a famous international scene movie of Brazil that tells this history. It's a kind of the corruption of marketing program of TV and financial things of the time of TV and propaganda, and Lula get involved by this all of this all stuff of the propaganda money and this the little or little middle farm in the poor region, and the people in the people watching the operation of the FBI, similar of here, né? The Polícia Federal here. Uh, when people watch the things happen, some politicals get in jail and all of this stuff. This operation, it's proposedly walking to the prison of Lula. We have some I don't know the name of the professional that judge. What is this name? The judge, the professional that work in the tribunal and judge if
a
you
judge. Yeah.
Or
the
a
judge.
prosecutor.
So we have a judge here called Sérgio Moro. The Sérgio Moro, it's a judge that openly say that are against Lula and don't will stop until the proof that the president are criminals and corruption, and he tried to mobilize the public opinion to get Lula murdered. Until this day, the Lula don't have the final judge. The process, the judging process, it's very confused. Even the Lula lovers don't know why and what is happens. Even the Lula haters don't know what is happened, and nobody can explain too much what has happened. But the Lula is jailed in great mediatical phenomenon in the televisions. I don't know if I say here, but we in Brazil we have just one television channel. Actually, we have some. I think that some five television channels, but only one have expressive strength that all the people watch all the time. It's called Rede Globo, and in the prison of Lula, it's a great show of the mediatical programs. The policial policies, the policemen. That's right. The policemen jail the hands of the Lula with a chain. I don't know the name of the thing of you put on your fist, but it's a completely unnecessary show from to feed the blood wish of the population. Remember, in 2013, all the people are crazy on the streets to rebel against the politicians, and the people are guilting the government to all the population suffering and all this stuff, and the richest one in the good movement, in the good political movement, blames the Lula for all the evil from the Brazil, and no only blames the Lula from all the evil, but blames the social programs, but blames the social assistencialism, the college, even the colleges here, the colleges of the building in this government, the people who are who finished the colleges are accused by Marxist doctrination, something like that. You know, the people who study in this college are judging are judging by the middle class and the richest one, like kind of brainwash from the communist thinkers. I am clear. I gotta understand. Sorry if I don't have too much clear.
That's okay.
So the Fernando Haddad, for the more resuming, Fernando Haddad represent a good choice against the Bolsonaro, but have too much angry from the population, from the political partner. So so much angry because this festival of the show of the TV to Jay on Lula, if without any real proof that this kind of little farm are illegal and some kind of stuff, the hate of the people from this partner, it's so big, if that don't matter if the Bolsonaro it's a bad option, the people will vote in him because the people are angry from the last government, you know. So we have three kinds of the people that support the Bolsonaro. The first it's the fascist ones. It's the open and free speech of the racism and homophobic and all this stuff. The second one, it's a kind of the don't like the to social programs, don't like the to Lula governments, and the hate of Lula will be choice will you made the choice to Bolsonaro. In the three the type of three elections of Bolsonaro, the people that support the Bolsonaro, it's the people that don't get any information. It's the people from the north, the north area, the poor area, that they are convinced by the security programs and the free the guns from the population and this kind of speech, you know.
So you think that these allegations are politically motivated, or did he really do something?
No, so it's for us in the have a lot of perspectives of this fact. Uh, some people believes that are political motivations among these people. I think that it's all about to regain the government, the richest ones. The richest ones are don't in any moment to stop to make a part of the president are a poor representative. You know, think Brazil of the public system here. It's the president, the representative of the people, the face that the people knows. It's a poor. It's a representative of the poor people in the Lula time, but the machine, the system, and the back on the grounds, back on the in the background, it's the same riches, the same great farmers, it's the same religious ones that can up to the government machines supported by army of religious adapters, you know. So in this moment, it sounds like for me that removing the representative and put a representative of elite, you know, it's the first time in a lot of time, actually, 10 years that the elite put something, some representative in this government. In this specifically candidate can be the military government return again. This is the most dangerous that our population are confronted right now. So the Lava Jato, the great operation of two jail politicians, are transformed for political reasons to blame only one political partner. You know, we have a lot of cases of corruptions. Even we have a case of 1,000 kilos of cocaine in the airplane of a very famous politician, Aécio Neves. It's a rival try the president against the Dilma Rousseff in 2013, and this guy are catched with 1,000 kilos of cocaine in your airplane, and nothing happens. Even the great media show one time and never more, and don't have prisons, don't have any consequences of this fact, you know. And we have a lot of cases like that. It's a strange 1,000 kilos of cocaine in the airplane, don't do nothing. It's exactly that saying. The Lula was jailed by a middle farm or with some kinds of pigs and horses, and I know that is not cool. If it's not right, he needs to pay your social debt for this crime. But we have a lot of worst cases that nothing are doing about, you know. So it's very clear that the prison of Lula it have a political reasons, you know, have a political ideas for background. Even the Lula, it's the government of Lula. It's very responsible to take these great farmers and divide for the I don't know the name of this kind of people on English, but here in Brazil, before the Europeans came, we have the natives here that we call it Índio. It's some people that paint your faces and use some hats with bird things. You know what I'm talking about?
Like tribal people?
The tribal people. Yeah, it's a good way to refer them. The government of Lula takes a great movement to take a tribal people, these native ones, the Brazilians who lives here before the Portuguese came, the tribal people to make a part of these great farms, you know, the richest ones, the same of the control the economy. The Lula trying to take a piece of these great farmers and take to nature preserve some ambientalism program, and take to tribal people some kind of part. And these are getting angry a lot of the rich farmers. And we have a lot of reasons to explain why the Lula is political jail. You know, it's a prisoner of the political system, and we have a lot of cases of the oppositions for the government dying, really dying. We have cases from a black woman. He is a low have a low charge in the politicals. I have a low. I don't know the name in English, but this is not a lot of important. Have secondary functions of the government. We have a lot of divisions of the government here, and it's a beginning of the career political for anyone to try in the political career here. It's a woman, black woman called Maliere Franco. Maliere Franco opened trying to alert the people from repression of the police, the policemen, the policemen against the black people, the policemen against the rich ones. Here in Brazil, the policemen, we have a military police in Brazil. We have three kinds of police here. We have a civil police, it's a normal police. We have a whole Brazil police, a federal police, and we have a military police. That military police that's used by literally control the people, using the excuse from the combat the narco traffic. And Marielle Franco dying saying the abuses of these military policemen, and trying to alert the people for the illegal things that these military policemen are doing, you know. And we have here in Brazil a moment that they are raiding the opposition of the government are already dying. The people are already dying, you know. It's a very, very dangerous, and we need, I think, and if possible, if is possible, we need all international community to open your eyes to Brazil and trying to help somehow. We need to send a message for the military guys, for the religious ones, that these things that you are doing for the people will be consequences, you know. There will be something will happen against him, this kind of people.
John, you there?
I'm here. Just processing everything he said. Like,
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think that is it's a lot of information, and I like to talk, so I
Did
talk a lot.
we cover Operation Car Wash?
The Operation Car Wash, it's what I call it of Operation Lava Jato. I just use the Portuguese words, you know. The car wash, it's the great operation of the police, the federal police. It's similar like FBI here to our jail. A lot of politicals, and the judge Sérgio Moro, it's the responsible for the operation, opened say that the whole the operations is just for to take Lula prisoner. You know, the car wash start with a genuine and truly operation that are jail a lot of politicals. We have a lot of politicals right now jailed. I guess that's one and two, and we have a lot of politicians that going to jail. The television show these politicians going to jail in less from 1 month. They are free to from some kind of prison inside of home. I don't know the name in English, but the people cannot leave your own home. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a home prison, but man, they are really, 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 really riches, man. Tipo, man, it's easy to get prisoner in these homes, you know. It's a really easy. The homes have all about the things that money can buy, and if I get prisoner in these homes, I will be very will be very happy,
Yeah,
you know. So
Pablo Escobar did the same. You know, a lot of people, rich people, you know, barter with the government so they can get house arrest when they're living in mansions.
So this it's the political scenario in Brazil actually. In a nutshell, we have a lot of problems, but the most recent problems it's this fear about the communism that don't exist. I think I like the communism. I read Marx. I think oh it's a it's a great it's a great idea. I think that the poor can control the government. It's very nice, but we have a different world that world who Marx and the communist guys are. We have a different scenario, you know, and don't have a chance to be afraid to communist in this way. Not afraid like to take guns and you know to hurting people. Come on.
So the next election date is the 28th, right?
The
28.
22 the elections you are talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I am I am very sure that the people will elect the Jair Bolsonaro. The people will choose the Jair Bolsonaro. Well, I can be wrong, but the percentuals of the political race are most favorite, most strong to Bolsonaro than Haddad.
Yeah, I've seen that, and that's because he knows how to play the fears of people well, and he puts blame on some groups, and it really works in favor of some politicians. They don't really have to
Yeah.
use their own story; they just have to blame others for mistakes, and it's,
Yeah, it's the same in history. It's this, they are repeating in all the countries of the whole world again and again and again.
so what will happen after that? What if he wins? What do you expect will happen in Brazil?
Well, well, if if the when he wins, I think that what happened in Rio or will happen in all the country, they will put some kind of alarm or some kind of fear about this communism way, the communism enemy, and will try to militarize all the government. You know, they are him are open to say that don't believe on democracy. He have a video that with this speech that he from him the democracy failed. He's thinking to only way to turn the nation from the God, from the right costumes and the family and this kind of speech. It's only way it's in a military government again, you know, and probably that's it will happen. Probably they, I think he have a great speech to free the guns, but I think that will not be free guns, and I think that we have a military government again, and in this moment different to 60 years. We have internet and we have a lot of tools to make government under the population. We can with the globalization of the population and the internet like a tool, we can do something. We can express ourselves, and we can show and leaks the cases of corruption and aggressive behaviors and this kind of stuff. The first moment of the resistance of the Brazil, the first thing that we can protect like population, it's the freedom of the internet. That is like I am really, really afraid. Bolsonaro don't say anything about the freedom of the internet, but I am a little afraid about it because they have a lot of plans to control the media. They have a lot of plans to control the information, and all the political game are based on fake news. A lot of fake news, something a little like Donald Trump in America. It's a really, really very similar, but the Donald Trump have a rich one that have a person rich guy. And Jair Bolsonaro see of the hard guy, the military, way. The don't will forgive the any crime of the populations. It's a kind of stereotype.
Does he come from the military? Bolsonaro in the military?
He was military in the past, but trying to keep some moment in the military career, and all and quickly keeps to the politician. You know, he's are very young, was very young in the military, and when this time of the military is over, he take the politician and have been politician for the last 30 years. And this time from 30 years in the politician, he's do absolutely nothing, really nothing. He had only two projects of laws of laws, and he votes against the some things like abortion, against freedom of the black woman in the jail. We have in Brazil something completely scary, completely terrible. The black woman pregnant who was jailed have our babies, in the hospital, chained. It's like a Middle Earth, the Middle Earth. No, sorry,
Midwife.
yeah, it's the people who are birthing the light. I don't know the expression in English, but chained in the bed of the hospital, incapable to hug your children. And Jair Bolsonaro are favored, supported that kind of the social behavior, the kind of repression. And in 30 years in the politician, he put all our family on the politician too. He put your son, your two sons. You put some kind of secretarians to the of family too. So now the Bolsonaro family are really controlled, so it's a good part of the chairs of the government. Oh, sorry. It's already happened. In the same moment that we have elections to the president, we have elections too for the senators, for the community representatives. That I don't know the name in English, but it's the little on communities representative. And this process, uh, only the name Bolsonaro get a huge uh, huge quantity of votes just because the name Bolsonaro.
John, we have some questions on Facebook, but they're in Portuguese. I don't understand what they're saying.
In the Facebook, the people are asking in the Portuguese.
I think it's Portuguese. It's not Spanish.
Can you send me for me
Oh,
so I
gosh.
can read?
John, can you copy those?
Yeah, I'm on the way.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Sorry, my Spanish is rusty, but I don't speak a lick of Portuguese.
Don't mind about this. If,
Yeah, I am posting them in the chat. I my Portuguese also sucks, so I don't know if there are even questions or not. So, but I'm just posting what he is saying in the chat.
there's no problem. Let's see.
Can you see them in the chat room?
I will check right now.
Okay.
The are saying Bolsonaro it's a crazy politician without the capacity to govern the country. Facebook, who's up of his image from the people, and sorry, the people are this message are saying that Bolsonaro is crazy, and the Facebook are helping the group the famous name, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The second message is saying that this don't happen here. It's or people have afraid and say because of left party political party, and the they call it ask about the communism. Other message. Just one moment.
Sorry, he's posting a lot. He's posting a lot more.
It's a lot of messages. I think just a minute. Some guy are talking. I am Brazilian, and I know how much the rich ones and the great companies force one economic crisis and the extreme right political enjoy from the get the crisis economic crisis worse with the delay the with the leaks of the scandals in the great state-owned companies like a Petrobras. He said with this the government of the left side with have the power suffer they call it GOP. I don't know the word in English, but suffer like a movement. And just one moment. Suffer. It's just like I was saying. You know, the richest ones move the people to work in the background. The people who work in don't show her face. In the government of Lula, we have a representative that have a representative of the poor, and all the background are from the rich ones. And this guy are talking about this. He's talking about the these background guys promote some economic crisis to make the people hungry and make this economic crisis a political crisis. You know, have a lot of messages. Just one minute. Can have a message here.
There's more.
It's I'm happy that a lot of messages. I'm happy that the people watching and giving messages in Portuguese are agreed with me. I'm feel really happy. This message is a good one. I could be wrong. That it's a message, Colin. I could be wrong, but all of this have a finger of the USA for to see the left side with the socialist programs can be aligned with the Russia and the Africa and China made in the BRICS. The BRICS is the Brazil, Russia, India, and China. It's a great economic bloc. It's a not economic actually. It's just a political bloc. They don't have it so much transitions economics. It's not like a NAFTA or Mercosur or a Union of Europe, but it's a political group. Other messages: we are just a piece of the great chess. We are manipulated all the time. We are tired to be slave of the poor system. I think I think this too, but I think that if I with my common name, if my normal name in my normal life, if I say something like that, the people will look me and will yelling communist to stop of to say that thing. We are not manipulated. You are manipulated because you learn Marx in the college building by Lula. You know. Let's see other messages here. These last messages are talking about the Bolsa Familia. The Bolsa Familia, it's a social program with somehow makes a distribution of the money, brings food for the most poor part of the country, and if you look for the north side, the government of the left side are elected in other states. This guy are saying that we have the first round of this election, and all the parts of the Brazil voted in the large scale in the Bolsonaro. Only the north part, the poor part, voted in Haddad. If they continue, this guy continue. If he look in Google, it's a lot of promotions. It's a lot of I don't know the name in English, but it's a lot of good recommended. It's something like that for the President Lula. Today it's jailed because this message remind me a great information. It's essential to understand that in the before it's that something that not happened yet, right? Or after it's already happened, and before it will be happened. That's right.
Correct. Yeah. Before and
So
after. Yeah.
so before before the elections start, and the Lula, it's already jailed. The people, the great media ask for the people who will be the president, and even jailed. The Lula tried to participate of the first term, and all the researchers appointed that if Lula is free, him can be president again. The call of the people, and this is not from just from the north poor area, for all the people. The Lula, it's the favorite one. If Lula have freedom today, tomorrow he will be president, you know. But purposely he has jailed for not trying the elections again. The personality of Lula are so strong that even jailed, if the justice give a permission to try a candidate, trying to the president, he will be he will be elected. You know, the people really like it, Lula. It's really true, guys. Brazilian guys, I appreciate a lot this message. Uh, you show me that I am not wrong. The movement of resistance here are not wrong. The people trying to resist this military state. It's not wrong. It's not wrong to be a black guy. It's not wrong to live in favela. Don't turn you a thief or narco trafficking just to be poor or just to be black, or you don't need to be afraid to be gay. Actually, the people here, guys, are really afraid to be gay because we have videos to the train station, the people singing with the lot of crowd of people singing the words that Bolsonaro will kill the gays or something like that.
Didn't they have a? I remember seeing a couple years ago, like a gay parade or something, like
yeah,
in Brazil, but
we
but it was I was getting the impression that it was taboo what they were doing.
yeah, yeah, that's exactly that power, the speech of the Bolsonaro. We had in the Brazil the last 2 years good movimentation of the propaganda pro like he gay, you know. We have a lot of media space from the LGBT people. I don't know if the LGBT is right, but the gay people start to appear in the television. The gay people start to talk about the homosexuality open without fear and try and start to get some advertising showing gay couples, and the religious people have a reactionary behavior so strong that this can 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 explain the ascension of the Bolsonaro.
Do you often feel that Brazil is on the brink of a revolution, something radical?
I think that the Brazilians have a lot of fear of changing. You know, the even look to two scenarios. We have some part of people that want a left side government back. We have other people who wants to change, and it's look like a situation in Brazil that the people who wants to change don't want something revolutionary from the people, wants a revolutionary military Z. The people that wants to things get a change want a government, a military government. You know, the Brazil are the Brazil lives your moment of different government, a government for the poor in the last years, and now the revolution is it's a other way revolution. It's not a people revolution. The Bolsonaro called himself a revolutionary, you know. So I think that we need to if we can plan some kind of revolution or some kind of revolt of the people, we need to show the population that the Bolsonaro are the representative of the super riches. The Brazil hate in all don't matter if you like or you hate Lula, don't matter if you like or if you hate Bolsonaro. The Brazil hates the super riches because they know that super riches are control our economy, that making us a country who just export for the world products, cheap products, from the easily production. We don't have technology to export technologic things, we don't have education to capable the population to get ability to science like physics, mathematics, or engineer. We have just farmers business here because the super riches, and this fact it's in the mind of the population. We have all the Bolsonaro and Lula supporters all hate us, the super riches, and what we need to do if we need a great revolution on Brazil, something that can be change all the story of this country. It's release the Brazil of the super riches, and it's a very interesting fact. If you pull the genealogical tree, if you are looking the past and the fathers and grandfathers, the great grandfathers, if you look for the past, the same people, the same family who came for Brazil from Portugal, it's the same family that have the largest or the largest farms, the largest lands here in the Brazil. That's it. It's a shock that for me when I discovered that I think that we don't are free yet. Just you just change your we just change our captains. In the past are Portugal, and the other time is the great farmers, and the other time is the military ones, and the other time came back from the farmers. We need to stop this group that control the economy, control the politicians, control everything. And I think that it is the call of all the world. I think that in other countries, the great companies control the government, and here in the Brazil we don't have a great companies. We have just one, and this only one company are from the state. We have a lot of farmers, and our problems here is our chance here to make some kind like a revolution. It's showing and educating the people to see and understand who is the controlling the Brazil. How is the people, how is name, how is family, and here in the Brazil it's literally families controlling all the things. We need to show from the population these families, their lifestyle, what they eat, what they travel from, where they consume, because it's so different the lifestyle of these super riches from the all the rest of the country, that all of this difference will disperse, will wake the same hate, the same wish of blood that make Lula prisoner. The people without the information, the people without the education, just like blood, just like a revolution, the justice sense of the people in the crown of people without education, without information. It's reverted for wish of blood. We can see that in Bolsonaro's speech. if we show from the Brazil people the difference of lifestyle and show that difference of this lifestyle is supported by the political system, is supported by policemen, repressive systems, and all of the machine of social structures are made for keep these great riches on the yard. That's almost of like a revolution that we can make here, because the revolution here, it's not a revolution for guns or to taking off the politicians or hacking banks, just to democratize and I don't know if this word in English, but we need to you need to let the people know what happened, because remember, we have just one channel of TV. This channel of TV, it's a government. It's a leader by the same families that are super riches. The family Marinho. It's the family from the super riches that control the media and control the position of these great farmers. Sorry, guys, I'm talking a lot,
It's
and
okay.
I'm liking to talk a lot.
Going through the comments.
If you have some Portuguese
Yeah, I guess
message or
Vander is saying something in Portuguese. Like, can you bring it over, John?
You mean the new questions?
I
Okay.
don't know. It's fairly recent. In the last 5 minutes, it was posted.
Okay, let me see. It's hard to see when these are questions.
I know.
when
It's and in Facebook the programming and the timeline of live stream posting, it's all out of order.
yeah. Uh, yeah, this one seems to be new. It's just all out of order again. You're right. It doesn't give a time either.
No. I'm almost suspecting Facebook is doing that intentionally.
Yeah. Just to make it as annoying as possible for us. We do have this other stuff I see we didn't ask yet, so
You want to ask those questions?
Um,
on this one I don't know what it says, so
So this message here are saying Bolsonaro, it's being watched like a savior, like Hitler in the past. Bolsonaro, it's for coincidentally, I don't know this word in English, but Bolsonaro, it's also a captain of are removed from the army, and have the Christians support like Hitler in this age. Car wash, it's operation of the federal police of a judge called Sérgio Moro. A lot of people don't like saying who is not impartial, who is not impartial, and is taking from the right side. So like I say, I don't I don't say that Sergio Moro, the judge who commands the car wash operation, tends to the right side. I think that he's just a man that that have a chance to turn a national hero, jail president, a corrupt president. You know what I mean? Is it just the way that this judge finds to enter to Brazil history like a hero? You know, the people are seeing the Sergio Moro in the car wash moment like a hero, like a, a great great judge. This kind of stuff. It is not right side of politicians. It's just against Lula, my perspective. Let's see other comments here. All of programs pay the colleges from the most poor people. Programs of I don't know this word of means, but what is the word that we have some some quantity of the numbers of spaces in the college from the black people. You have you know what I mean? It's common for you guys. Sorry, I'm sorry. My microphone is distant.
No worries.
I'm saying that that message here. I'm saying all of these programs pay the college from the people more poor. The programs of that's word that I don't that that, that I don't know how to say it in English. What is the name of the word that the we have some part of the shares of the college to the black people? You know something about this?
Like an affirmative action
I don't know. I wouldn't know in English.
or special, what do you call it?
That we have in the past in the government of Lula because the slavery questions and the without the participation of the black people to good careers to we don't have too much black peoples in the who finish the college the government take a little part of the quantities of shares in the college to only for the black people who was poor to low money and black and you can try to get this special chair in the college, you know, and that is the message saying the saying of this program is paying the college for the poor peoples. The program of the cotas, the word in Portuguese from this selection of the black peoples, the program of the black peoples from the black people doing the colleges from or debt from these people because they was they was humiliated here in the past and it's a great selfish and like a lot of people have a selfish way to understand this movement and the last message it's Duran it's complicated all this I feel like a doll. What is your vision? What is happening here? What the government go prison of the political yeah. So the these last messages are asking our vision to the prison of the politician that who has 8-7% of the approbation of the population, and he's asking if this is normal. And for me, it's of course is a normal. We are passing to the the answer from the elite from the country. It's the elite of from the country mobilized to get the power again. You know, and I don't know if this can be called from left or right, but I think this is just a game from the riches from the rest of the people. You know. I appreciate the message, really, really, really. Every message that I see in Portuguese make me very, very happy. I'm feel like important person talking about my country.
You're welcome. John, do we have any more questions on the Rise Pad?
Well, we have the other question, like I don't know if we discussed it already about the parallels we see with the United States. Of course, I mean,
Yeah, a lot of journalists are comparing the Jair Bolsonaro tropical Trump. I think it's a pretty funny comparison because it really is. It's some kind of tropical and military version of the Donald Trump.
yeah.
I think like the control of state, run media.
Oh, Terrence, you got to get closer to that mic, bro.
Always get me. No, the control of state-run media of information, the parallels to that, I think, are pretty obvious.
Yeah. It's a pretty obvious, but remember, the people here don't get don't get access to information into 10 years ago. The people can read, the people can eat. Now we are reading. Now we are getting access to internet. It's pretty hard to explain that one only channel of the media can be a great tool to manipulation of the people. It's pretty hard to understand. But the supporters of the Jair Bolsonaro are great criticals of this media. The Jair Bolsonaro are not going from the debate. I don't know the word in English, but the thing that we have two candidates to president talking with the proposed talking about our planes. In the television we have two asking to wonder each other. You know what I mean? Debate. I don't know the word in English. It's some kind of television chat with the candidate, the Jair Bolsonaro, trying to talk with Haddad and trying to get some proposals and plans from the future of government. I'm trying to say that Jair Bolsonaro leave this only one powerful media and trying to keep your campaign all from the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And he is right. I think that a revolution, mobilization of the society, is the best way is on the internet. He is doing right.
Hey, so what can we do? What can our listeners do to help? Do you have anything you want to ask attention for? What can we do to help out with your situation?
So we like if we have a power to use these data that are non-info collected by the General Villa-Boas, it's the interpreter of Rio, the military it's the front of the military government of Rio. If we can use this data from from attack to trying to show from the population who is this man, I think that it can be a nice propaganda anti-fascist to Jair Bolsonaro at all, because Rio de Janeiro is the first look that this military government are happening in Brazil.
Do you think showing some of that information to some of the media outlets down there might help?
Yeah, I think that a lot of propaganda can make afraid, because if we had a control that what are talking, what are saying, the planes, we can show for the population what is going on. We
Hmm.
can show what the truth. The truth is the plan of the great elite to keep the farmers, the government, and we can prove that. Uh, we already have a lot of database to 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 feed this attack. When we do this, if we get this attack, all the international media will talk about it, and we can show what is happening in Brazil, the truth about the Brazil. It's a complicated situation that we have a lot of sides to see and trying to get the situation, but the only truth is that we cannot let the faces win again. I cannot tolerate the have people who have a swastika on his chest by Bolsonaro fan lovers. I think that is a little bit dangerous, actually, because it's agreed. The general have a lot of power.
Yeah.
But we are already have a lot of data to keep this expression from him. And we have a lot of others data, the Brazil, and this power up from the Brazil on fascist way. We are they showing from the world the dangers of the fascist regime back to the community. You know, we have a Trump in America. We have a Putin in Russia. Can have have authoritarian government, and we need to respond like a population. We need to get other ways with the tools we have, and I think that most strong tool we have is the internet. I don't have any other more powerful weapon. But this is our most powerful weapon, I guess.
Any other questions from our panel?
Uh, I guess I'm gathering that he's an anti-fascist, or more leaning. I think he mentioned Marxism, communist. Is that his leanings?
Mm. It's a question for me. Can you repeat more slowly? Sorry.
What are your politics? anti-fascist, communist.
So what my position about the politics.
Well, yeah, not your position about the politics or the leadership, but what party are you a member of?
Actually, I am only I trying to remember the people in my country don't have access to education, so I'm trying to pass in the colleges and movement all the people who knows about Linux, uh, security, web systems, and I'm trying to get a little army with 3 or 4 people, and I think that I can say that I am a communist, but I like a lot of communists. I like a lot of anti-fascists. I just hated the riches that control my country. That's my position. That's what I can show from the population. Like who, what is the power of these riches in the whole history of our country, and who who strong is the internet with the mechanism to exert the people's wishes. I think that the most powerful weapon, science science, I don't know, science the gun is the internet, because we can communicate it with yourself. We cannot depend it of Rede Globo de televisão for communicate with ourselves. We're not dependent to what they want to us know. We need a Brazil, a great leak, a great information from the people. What is going on? And that is my vision, I think. I more specifically to my vision of the politics. I think that I am Marxist, but here in Brazil, to be honest, if you talk about Marxist, the anyone will understand. The people don't know about the proletarian and the common rights. The people just live, trying to live every day.
John, any questions?
Well, I was thinking like, how is the situation in other countries surrounding Brazil?
Yeah,
Is it similar or is it very different?
it's not so different, but the Brazil the Brazil, it's for America, Latin America, like the USA are from whole America. The USA, it's a mirror from the politicians from the rest of the America, and Brazil is like a mirror from the rest of the South America. The Brazil actually are great imperialist behaviors with the other countries, because the Brazil is the most economic stable, I guess, or something like that. But we now, in this moment in America Latina, we have we have authoritarian governments of the left side, like Maduro in Venezuela, like the legacy of the Hugo Chavez na Bolivia. And in Bolivia, we have a lot of authoritarian left side governments in America Latina, and this is a kind of similar, but the Brazil, it's always far of this America Latina. Actually, Brazil treat the America Latina like uh, uh, low priority. You know, the Brazil don't have too much interest to integrate it with the America Latina. The Brazil just look to USA and the Europe and wish to be similar. You know, the people look the USA government and the money and the life and wishes to. So we kind to behave in the similar way, like USA with us. We the Brazil the Brazil behaves the same way with the other countries of America. We have in the last government in Lula, we have a lot of job to trying to integrate it the America Latina, and we trying with some kind of the Brazilians and some kind of Latina countries have a old great wish to have just one great country about whole the America Latina, but it's a very difficult to happen. That is my very wish. I think that it's the thing who can save don't just Brazil but all the countries. You know, I guess only the union of the America Latina can be stop the Maduro, can stop the riches of the Brazil, can trying to make your people free. You know.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I think it's important for us to start looking at everything that happens on our continent, on our hemisphere, as being one. We like to break ourselves up into, the United States, North America, Canada is somehow separate than from Latin America and South America, and I think that our world will be better off when we're together. So for sure, I do agree with that proposition.
No, I'm sorry. You can, if you are talking to me, can you speak just a little more slowly?
No, looking at the at the Americas, as more, we're one hemisphere, we're one side of the world, and we have a tendency to think of all of it as being so very separate. And I tend to agree with you that we need to really to work together as one continent, the Americas, and not broken up into all of these, little private states that we need to work together much more than we have been.
You know.
Okay, well, we've heard so much history now about Brazil. I'm not sure if we even have anything left that we didn't mention yet. Uh, are you guys planning anything for as like in the sense of like protests for the election, during the election?
Are you asking if here are some protests of the people until this period of the elections are going on?
Mhm.
Yeah, some details about it. Yeah.
So, we in the first round we have a great movement about the women that call it not him, ele não. And it's all about the women that don't be represented by the I don't male shift. I don't know the name in English, but the behavior that the men are better than women in English. What is his name?
That would be, I think that'd be an opposite of feminist.
Yeah, the opposite. You have a name for that in English?
I'm
The
not sure.
opposite. Maoist. Here
Do we
we call.
do we have a word for that in English? Wait.
Uh,
I don't know.
we have a word for the 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 the, the other side for feminist. The feminist is the equality. It's about the equality from the gender and the behavior that support the sexism in the genders. We call it machismo. We call it some free translation like
A masculine. Yeah.
male masculine. It's something like that. So we have a great movement about this women. It's a feminist movement called Ele Não. It's taking a lot of country, a lot of cities. Take a lot of the Bolsonaro are so unpopular from the woman that this is the reason for they cannot be won the president on the first round. Just because this movement about the woman, they stopped the first round of the elections of the Jair Bolsonaro. The women are the feminist movement here in Brazil are so strong, and I say just don't just in Brazil, in all America Latina are really strong. The women are mobilized and organized. They communicate with ourselves, and they have groups in the Facebook, and have groups in the colleges, and have groups in the schools, and they really have a force against the Bolsonaro. The women vote are really important in this period, and this movement, not him, it's responsible to not the directly won in the first round of the Bolsonaro. After this movement, some reactionary movements from the woman supported by the woman who supported Bolsonaro makes a movement similar. Yes, him, something like that, but they don't have too much expression like who, not him. And this is the movement of more expressive, strong in this period. Now we are having some kind of protest, some people reproving. Weird because of the decline. The people are so polarized, so binary that I think that people fear to violence and repression and something like that. But the most expressive movement this election, I can say that is not him, the feminist movement, and I can I think that all Brazilians need to say thank you for the feminist movement.
I was looking if we have any more questions from the audience, but I'm not sure if anyone else here has any questions.
At least there's no fighting going on in the background.
Fighting?
No, usually in some of the channels, I'll pop in every once in a while.
Oh.
There'll be one person going after another.
They're not bad. They're not bashing us today.
A little bit. One person called us. We're talking about what all the other sheep are talking about, but the guy posts UFO pictures found in Afghanistan. So I take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like unrelated to this. Like we can have like an episode about UFOs in Afghanistan. But like, it's unrelated. It's about the Brazilian political situation.
Yeah.
It's, we just can't talk about.
Well, I think the
Afghanistan.
stuff that you're facing in your country, I often feel that especially when it's the small man versus the elite. I feel like on a global scale, all of us internationally are facing are in most about 90% of countries are facing the same issues.
Yeah, it's just it's the extremes. I think a lot of these powers, a lot of the things that people are fighting for, the freedom of speech, the freedom of access to information and government transparency. I think we're all fighting those things. There's just times where or places where the violent extremes that the government's allowed to go to, they're doing. In our country, there's times when they're not allowed to do it, but when they're allowed to, they act exactly the same.
Well, and oppression, like in the United States, there is a similar oppression, but it is just visible in a different way, right? I mean,
Well, you end up
you
with
have this example from today. You have this example, right? I mean, like 800 pages or something got deleted from social media.
Well, yeah, that's what we're seeing. Is that in America, and well, now it's just in America. This is international. Is that the corporations are dictating what you can and can't see on the internet? So, where this is a global issue.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
interesting. It's the same extremes. It's the Marxist communism versus a fascist, or you're hearing the same themes, even though different countries.
We
It's
run
the same thing in the different countries, and the people had the same opinion about it. The population are so polarized, the population are so binary in this situation that we cannot unite it against the super riches. That it's obvious that they really one problem for my point of view.
Yeah, and you create unions of workers, and yeah, they try to like stand up together, and you want to reduce the wealth for the extreme rich, and that's why you have this tendency of on one side there's like a communist kind of movement forming. I don't think it's weird that it's actually happening like that in a country like Brazil. I mean, it's a different political ideology.
Mhm.
It's the same labor versus corporate kind of argument.
Yeah, they're facing a similar situation in Venezuela.
Yeah.
Well, in the political systems that the world wants, that the people want, we don't really have the words to describe them. We're talking in things in terms of capitalism and communism. Ideas that were brought to light in the 1800s and the 1500s before that. We don't really have the words to describe the form of government that best suits the people. It might not exist in that form yet. But I think we're stuck in trying to put what we want into these archaic ideas. Are you communist or are you capitalist? Well, I mean that in some cases more to one side than the other. That system doesn't really exist.
Hmm. Yeah.
You know what I've always heard is that utopianism, and this is something that I've learned along the way. A utopian based society or an ideal society actually do exist. It's always one person wants to have more of that piece of pie than the other one, and that's what always fucks it up.
Yeah, the greed.
Greed.
But I mean, we kind of only put our the people that were the most violent, that were the most greedy, that were the most ruthless, right? Those were the people that we revered, that we saw as being great in a lot of cases. And it's just now that whole culture is changing, where people don't see those best qualities in humanity, and really until
Terrence, you got to get closer to that mic.
I'm like in my
the device here. No, like it's just it comes to a point here where
Ruh-roh.
Uh-oh.
He's
This is
muted.
weird. It always happens when he's on air, and then afterwards it's fine again. And then,
I swear to God,
Oh.
the NSA hates him.
yeah, it's dude.
He's a water protector. I mean, come on, you know. Can't have that.
Terrence,
Oh, I had one question for Antonio. When did the martial law start? He mentioned it was going on in Rio. You know, like how many cities is it occurring in? How long has that been going on? And like, why did it start?
So it started some months after the Michel Temer has get the power, and when the Dilma Rousseff are impeachment, the Michel Temer made this martial law here in Rio. A lot of the to I don't know the expression in English, but it's a media show, you know. So the martial are like since the last year in the same period the martial law was the murder of the Marielle Franco, the black woman politician that trying to saying the people the policemen's abuse and a lot of a lot of the repressions of the policemen with the people from against the people. The martial law here in Rio, it's only happening here in Rio because the security crisis in Rio are so intense that the solution from the population are this martial law, but the martial law don't work in very well. We have some data, and into the 3 months ago, 3 months back ago, we actually had more murders than with not no martial law. You know, we get more murders, we get more people going to the legacy for from not reason. You know, we don't have a much when I talk this in English, where we don't have it too much. It's completely showing from the media. The people here walking in the streets and looking for a great tank of the army, and this tank can shoot because if shoot will destroy a civil building, it will destroy a house. So have a tank in the middle of the street, and you pass from the street, look for the tank, and remember, oh, okay, we are in the martial law, but the repression it's only in favelas. The people living in favela are the worst in suffering
That's,
this
you know,
martial law.
I remember hearing, like, I don't mean to interrupt you, but there's some controversy. The favelas are like in Brazil. They're like well, they're
Barrio.
yeah, like barrios. Yeah, like there's the poor and then there's the rich, right?
Yeah, what is barrio? What definition of barrio?
A hood, a ghetto. Population, mostly it's a population of poor
Audio.
people.
In a depressed area,
Yes.
you know, economically, you know.
Yeah, the favela it's the populated from the poor people, and the rich people lives in the areas with the beaches and the
Ocean,
nice
yeah.
views. Yeah, the and it's amazing to think that it's really a slow part of the Rio. Rio is a great city. It's a great city. It's a big city, extensive lands of city, and the most part of this lands are ugly to see. We don't export this image from the rest of the world. The people here lives in houses like unfinished houses, like the vision in favelas, but not necessarily in favelas. Favelas, we here define favela like a poor community in the rivers. Now we here in the city we have a lot of little mountains, and the favela it's a classified who this poor community up into these little mountains. But the most of part of the Rio, the most extensive part of Rio are really like the favelas. Have constructions and pores and ethnical people a lot of like favela. You know, we have just a little white part of the people living in the rich zones. That this is your question. Sorry, I don't think if I understand very well.
No, that was pretty. So it's the military is just in Rio.
No, yeah, the military actually is just actually no, sorry. In this time is just in Rio. Like I say, the Rio it's the playground, the training center of this political regime of the military regime. Here in
Uh,
Rio, we have a religious major and we have an intervention military. That it's so close that Jair Bolsonaro wants to Brazil that it happens, start to happens the last year. The Jair Bolsonaro came from the Rio. The most part of the people who supporting him it's from the Rio. For he is the zone of the most supported people. You know.
okay.
That is your question.
Yes, yes. No, that was good. Uh, do you, I mean, it's pretty obvious. It seems like you have the same. We have a divide here in the U.S. Usually between the cities and rural people, which is really the same as a labor versus very similar to the labor versus corporate divide.
Yeah. I think that's the same in the whole world.
Yeah, it is. People in the cities vote different than people from the country. That is true. So different
You're also talking
values.
about multinational corporations, of course, and they're active in all these different countries, so they're having their effects on all these different countries. And you see the
Hmm.
same issues everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So, guys, here in Brazil are almost 2 a.m. I'm really getting tired because I work all the day.
I got you.
So, I think that I need to sleep. But I like a lot to participate in this show, this program. I like a lot to get be listened by the international community, and I still have a plan to get this data from the general interventor here and trying to do something. If you guys want to keep a kind of operation against this military of the Rio, if you guys want to get some kind of information or getting some kind of helping support, I will try to come back here in the show and trying to say from the world activists what has happened here and what we are doing here.
Yeah, it would be great to have you back on. I think most of us learned a lot tonight, and
Yeah.
yeah, it will be. Yeah, it's very much appreciated to have you in the show tonight. So thank you for that.
I who appreciate it. I who thanks. I who say thanks. Sorry, that
It's
bad
okay.
English. So, guys, I will turn off the call. I enjoy a lot, and I will keep the conversation with you guys and in Twitter, in the messages. Let's keep the conversation and let's think in what we can do here.
Okay.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
okay, guys. Bye bye.
Bye.
Take care. Good night. So what other?
Yeah, so a big thing, I do want to cover today is something that I've been talking about in. I hate to change the subject for our viewers. This is something very serious that's been going on, and this is something that you're going to be seeing a lot. How corporations are dictating our First Amendment rights. We were talking in the back channels about this. I'm not sure if our viewers are aware, but Facebook is a dying platform, and this is something you're going to see on a lot of platforms. Is Facebook deleted 800 plus politically motivated channels, including Unicorn Riot, Police the Police. A lot of the stuff Anons like to look at, and people who are into the activist community. This is not left versus right anymore. What we're seeing now is the independents losing their voices, and more and more we're going to see this on all the platforms. This is just something to look out. Look at. This is not just a Facebook thing. This is something that's going to be on a lot of platforms. John, you want to get more into that?
1 second. You mean? You mean the whole censorship thing, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, we saw it today, right? It was like there were like 800 big pages deleted, and the weird thing is, like minutes after they were deleted from Facebook,
media that they got rid of. This is the independent voice. This is not the big pages that disappeared. This is the independent media that they're getting rid of. This is the alternative. These are the true facts that are coming out, and they got rid of the people that are telling the truth.
yeah. But the second they were removed from Facebook, like shortly after they were removed from Twitter too. So they're like, these social media are now in.
Alex Jones was the first.
Yeah, they're in like a full cooperation. They're doing everything. Systematic.
In Breitbart, they took down a bunch of Breitbart sites and pages, and I mean, you would think with the connection with the president and Steve Bannon and all of that, that's kind of across the board censorship. And like, I don't know where it's coming from or what it is, but God, it took me 2 weeks to get my Facebook page back.
Yeah, I think, I hate to say this, I hate to be conspiracy theorist, but I think Agenda 2020, is in full in effect. You know what I mean?
Oh, they're already pushing this weird, and I don't want to get us too sidetracked, but they're already pushing this weird vote blue no matter who thing. And what they finally found a slogan that was worse than lesser of two evils.
Like, vote
Well, no, you see that on the. I'm seeing that on the right too. They want you to vote straight ticket. It's like you don't get a choice. It's like you're either on board with us or you're the enemy.
And it's like, okay, you're already coming to the conclusion that you're going to run people that I'm not going to like. So don't run those people. Right? I'm starting to see this, like, don't look it up, don't check on it, don't do any research, just vote straight ticket. No matter who.
Well,
put
it,
buy it. Vote blue no matter who, especially we won't run Hillary Clinton. Right? Warning.
well, that was the whole purpose of this Kavanaugh was to. I mean, it was they did this on purpose to. Both sides figured that they could strengthen their base by doing that. That's why they were both doing what they're doing. And what was lost in the mix was how bad this guy really is. If you just looked at his record, well, from my angle, because of the unconstitutional part, and the Patriot Act, he had a big part of that. So we missed all those reasons for talking. So that's why I'm laughing at all these Republicans and all these Trump people that thought they won big, because this guy was a piece of trash. And all that got lost in the mix in this giant hubbub of, hyperventilated, hysterics. It was unbelievable, man.
Yeah, and that's the deal. Like, there's, the things that they agree on are always the worst. Okay, so look, the knew that this was going to get pushed through in the same way that the Republicans threw Flake out there just in case it was going to lose them 64. They could have somebody to tout, oh, he's a good Republican. He's there for the people. Let's get that 50% female vote, right? But the only reason, like, it's so in front of people, but yet for some reason they don't see it.
No, they will default to this stupid tribal behavior rather than looking at the facts. This was just one more example of that, how the shit show and the drama was overrode any kind of logic and what was really going on, with his voting record. Yeah.
When you start something with, oh well, we're going to remove 100,000 pages of files on you.
Yeah, they don't want you to. They want to keep you stupid and playing these stupid games. Yeah.
Well, no. Here's the sick part is that first the social media sites will get rid of you because you're the independent media. Then phase 2, and I shit you not, this will be the second thing that we'll be seeing, is that hosting sites will not allow you to have your web page because they don't agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's going to be the second phase.
Well, think about where the traffic goes. Google could just refuse DNS requests, so you don't even get any traffic. I mean, there's already examples of that. Certain people where they're running websites, they're doing more and more seminars, meeting more and more people, and the traffic on their websites is going down. It's the same thing like this Facebook banning, only it's actually going on in websites hosted on the internet.
Well, I think they saw the danger. Look, the freedom of the First Amendment and free speech is truly dangerous. And the internet, all the way up until, really right now, you were able to speak your mind and anybody could see it. That is a fear. There's information that they don't have control over and are control freaks.
Yep, you nailed it. That's it.
More and more we'll be seeing, free speech disappearing from the internet, and I hate to say this, that, our last refuge might be,
the dark net over there with Daily Stormer.
It might be, dude, or peer-to-peer networks, or I2P, or GNU network, or Freenet.
Here's the deal.
We might have to resort to shit like that.
I mean, for us, this is the deal. The fear isn't particular for us. Okay, everybody that's sitting on this show has no problem getting into, the dark net, this and that. I mean, those are all words. Like, we have no problem getting information. It's our brothers and sisters. It's the masses. It's being able to keep access for people that aren't, plugged into those sort of networks. Your average citizen should be able to get any information that they have an interest in. They should be able to speak their mind anytime that they want to, and that's what I really worry about. For me personally, no, we could get on here today and talk about the truth of the things that are going on around you, but what I want is for people to have access to that truth.
we're living in Orwellian times, and this is this is exactly George Orwell. This the it was never the stuff that was he wrote in his book is playing out. We are the underground. We are the resistance. We're having to go more underground to get that information out.
Yeah, and that's the natural progression of things. With all media, it's been that way. At first they didn't want anybody to read, and then once people were reading, well, then only certain people could get the real information. Then with the printing press, well, then for a minute everybody was printing, and then they got control of it again, and they controlled the newspapers. We saw the same thing happen with television media. It started out, people got on and told you the news. Could make whatever decisions that you wanted, and then it slowly got into the same propaganda machine that the newspapers did. And now you see that being done again with the internet, with alternative media, where it started out pretty open and free, and now they're trying to get the kind of corporate, the normal propagandized talons into it. They do it with every form of media.
Yeah, it's the same pattern.
But in the end, I think it won't work. More of us read today than have ever read before, right? And that's definitely against what they've been trying to do. So I think in the end, it'll work in a wildly opposite direction, and things happen a lot faster than the internet. The moment they'll come down way too hard on some celebrity out there. I'm just going to throw it out, Alyssa Milano or somebody like that. In that very next moment, someone will come out and everyone will have moved to a new social media. You won't even close your Facebook page. It'll sit out there just like your MySpace page does. But eventually they'll come down so hard on someone that is an activist, but, not like one of us, someone that the masses will notice, and people will move away from that network in a heartbeat. They are under the impression that we have no alternative, and that's not the case.
Yeah, that's definitely.
And then you're the only network out there. Like I said, people don't, as much as for some reason our governments think so, people aren't loyal to Facebook. They're loyal to their friends on Facebook. Those friends could be on any network.
Yeah, they've mistaken it. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I've said before, Facebook is in decline, and many users will find out in the next year that Facebook will be not the place to be. And if you guys are thinking about hopping onto Instagram, just keep in mind that Mark Zuckerberg is getting more involved with Instagram than Facebook, because he knows it's crashing. So if you think about hopping on Instagram as a solution, it's not.
The exact same thing will happen there.
Yeah.
If it's like a network-wide call, they will just delete it from everything. So
Yeah, and Google Plus, Google announced that they will be shutting down Google Plus in the next 10 months. That's corporate talk. We'll know if they actually follow out with that plan. I don't know.
They just had a giant data.
Well, they had a data breach, and it basically was a PI that was given out to a developer, and about 417 individuals had access to this. But the code that they were given basically give them private information to about 500,000 users. It really wasn't a data breach or whatever. It was an oopsie in coding. It wasn't exactly a hack, so they weren't inclined to divulge any of that information. But as far as investors are concerned, and the SEC, I think legally they should have done it. And I think the SEC will be looking into this, and there probably will be some sort of financial settlement after this, because this happened at the same time that Cambridge Analytica was going on, and they kept silent about it.
See, this is something that I don't know, kind of bothers me. Does it seem like these companies, and this is a question I'm asking, so if somebody wants to comment as well, does it seem like these companies have these massive data leaks and these massive data breaches right before they close down, right before they're changing, they're changing hands or something's going on in the company? Like they're getting rid of a whole bunch of information before they get rid of the CEO that you would hold accountable, or the part of the company that you would hold accountable. I have a sneaking suspicion that a lot of these breaches aren't breaches; it's data that's being sold. They're just being paid out in Bitcoin or whatever cryptocurrency they like, or whatever Cayman Islands account. I mean, these aren't hidden ways to put money in places.
Well, it could be market manipulation too. I mean, that's kind of another angle, because you could put out a breach like that, and then I think the stock market the other day, it got hit pretty hard. It's 3.5%. So every time they come out with some stupid statement, like we're getting rid of 800 pages, well, investors know it's like, well, that's lower traffic. We get lower revenue. That's bad for business. So they tank your company. So it does have an effect. Just all the way around. I mean, it's no way to run a business. You do not,
Well, and they'll tank an industry. I mean, look for people that don't know, right? You're under the impression that in a stock market collapse, that the rich are losing millions of dollars, and that's not the case. They buy
no, yeah.
In the crash, it's you and I that lose out. It's the people that had their savings or their house caught up and all of that. They lose money, but the rich make out like bandits when there's a crash. So they will do things to pull the strings to make a crash. If I want to buy up tech industry, I know the tech industry is going to be the biggest industry on the planet within the next few years. Why wouldn't I crash the market and buy up everything I can? Like that's common sense.
You could actually be onto something like that. I just never thought about it like that. Like these API and this code that they give out to the developers. Just happen at times when they want to crash the market. They do this intentionally.
Yeah, near a quarterly report. I mean, there could be it's timing, and it's pretty obvious because other companies do this. You see, well, like let's call the oil industry. Oil price gets too low, you tend to see explosions at refineries. Gets the price back up, right? So I mean, yeah, it happens. That is what's going on. It's too coincidental.
Yeah, I think that's the deal. It's too coincidental. We talk about the housing bubble as being a huge, a huge draw, a catastrophe in our country. When the rich talk about the housing bubble, right? They're tickled pink, right? I made $1 billion. The government paid it to me straight out. I didn't do anything, and I got the money off of the houses. Right? That was a hustle, not the other way, around. So yeah, I think a lot of these markets, when you see these high falls and these high crashes, and a lot of the data breaches recently are them just selling things off and playing games to make that extra money. That's how it works, especially when it comes to tech. Because when it comes to the tech industry, we know that's the industry of the future. There's no arguing that. Right?
Yeah, maybe the hardware. I mean, we used to think of tech like the social media and all being part of this tech. But I mean, they've trashed that so bad that I guess it'd be the software side. It's just like nobody's even going to be interested. It's
just that when you think of we're talking about Google, and it's one of those things. Google isn't just a search engine. That's the deal. It makes operating system. It makes your tablet. They're making software in the background and apps on top of it. It's this whole technology industry that we're looking at. It goes everything from Fitbit to your sunglasses, right? And they all have some technology company connected to them that pretty much trace back to 4 companies.
Yeah.
That is absolutely correct. Or AWS or Amazon or
Alphabet. It's all.
Like, well, you're telling me that the CEOs of Amazon and the CEOs of Google don't golf at the same golf clubs? They don't go to the same restaurants. They don't hang out together. Come on.
Well, it's pretty obvious they do. Well, Facebook and Twitter, because they're doing operations the same day. I mean, there's 20 companies or so that seem to do things just about on the. It's like they're a cabal. They may not all be owned by the same guys, but they sure think the same way.
Well,
Yeah,
no. Actually,
This is-
I think that they are. When we refer to the deep state, we're referring to the investors, the banksters, the people who have all the money, which all these startup companies have to get their funding from. So, in essence,
Yeah.
they all are tied and connected. So this is tied into political parties, IT companies. They all have the same investors.
Well, and they all have these weird connections. You're immediately, it's the CIA, it's the NSA. There's always the same group, and maybe these companies do start out where they want to do, good, but then it's only a matter of time before you're being ran by the board, right?
Or
So
Goldman
whatever
Sachs and friends and whoever.
Some hedge fund. Yeah.
don't play ball, they get rid of you. I mean, I was always kind of, you guys know, I gave Elon Musk all sorts of shit, but it seems like he wasn't playing ball, and this is what happens to people who don't play ball.
Oh yeah.
Right? He's on the Joe Rogan show. He's talking shit about the 1%.
Oh, even Joe Rogan is getting bad press, and he's been part of the digital underground for a while, and he's been getting bad press as well.
I'm an 80s baby, so I always had this until real recently, I always had this weird impression of Joe Rogan. He was always like the college boy kind of, I don't know. I just didn't take him seriously at all. And then when I started seeing some of his UFC stuff and then some of his show, he really has spoken out about some really great stuff and taken some heat for it. So over time, I'm really gained some respect for the guy. But he's gotten a lot of heat for any of that, and I think I think Elon Musk was a good example, as well as because he got him on there. Some weed, he did some other shit, which in the whole, it's a tech guru living in California smoking weed.
See, a lot of people see Elon Musk as one of the elites. No, Elon Musk is one of us who has a lot of money.
Yes,
Well, but he's plugged in politically. He got a lot of money during the Democrat years there with Obama for all the, his batteries and the electric cars. I mean, he was funded heavily behind the scenes.
Well, no, I agree, but I think that he has some of the problems now that the actual Nikola Tesla had, and I think that one move towards he's literally actually started fixing water houses pipes in Flint, and I think that's really kind of put them over the edge. How dare you?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was within a day after he was chuming over there on Joe Rogan's program, the friggin' DOD was looking at him for security clearance. I mean, you can't be doing all these, government contracts and be over there,
Smoking
chuming
joints.
on friggin', blazing with friggin' Joe.
Well, I mean, he's a CEO. He was in California. It was legal. There was,
He's not anymore.
No, yeah, you just can't do that, even as a CEO. Hey, you can do it in the background. You're at some party or whatever, but you can't do it like that. Yeah,
That's what
pretty subtle, but
there's been some other tech CEOs that have had. I mean, I would argue they really smoked some serious.
Well, Kaspersky, he went off the deep end. He just started blatantly admitting that he was using drugs. He's in some trouble.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that he's in an interesting position, but I think they don't like him because of that. The worst thing that could happen is some billionaire starts actually helping people. That's a nightmare.
Well, yeah, Elon Musk, offered, he was helping out Flint, Michigan. He was offering, he was giving them, each household water filtration units.
It's not just offering them; like they've started installing them. I don't have like the final numbers, but I kind of waited to get the news, like the news story, and check on the ground, because sometimes you'll get stuff and they handed them out, and then you talk to anybody and they're like, "I ain't seen no stuff. They don't know what you're talking about." So I'm gonna like wait until I get the confirmation on the ground. But we do have people saying, they're dropping them off and hooking them up and just moving on from house to house.
Well, that's messing up the government's experiment there in Flint. I mean, they're trying to hurt people and get them sick. Can't be having that filtration. That's outrageous.
And these aren't good people, right? So they will get a certain small amount of the population sick to see how it affects them. And that, that's always kind of going on in the background. A lot of things that go on are accidents and are tragic, but there's all sorts of things that they let fly because they want to see, well, what does a low-level neurotoxin do to a population? Can we use this as a weapon? Right? That's a question that they ask to all sorts of questions and environments. And what does radiation, how does that affect the human population? And they'll move a small tribe to that area to see how generational exposure to radiation treats you. These aren't good people.
Well, that's something. Yeah, remember the Russians were doing that. They in Uzbekistan, they blew up a place near a lake and opened up a channel, and they encouraged people to swim into the lake, knowing that they had made the lake with a nuclear bomb to test the effects of how nuclear radiation would affect somebody.
Oh yeah, look, recently they raised the level of acceptable radiation in your environment. It has nothing to do with Fukushima pouring tons of radiation.
Oh, yeah.
But they raised it. Turns out that you the acceptable radiation for you is more than your grandparents or parents were. It doesn't it's insane. No, there isn't. You should have as little radiation in your environment as possible. But
yeah, just go swim in the radiation lake, and it'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
You don't have a choice. If you swim in the ocean now, it's radioactive. Like the amount of radiation that was in our environment is way more now. There's no way to get around.
I wouldn't be surprised if the government said that there is acceptable, safe levels of radiation.
Yeah. Anytime the government tells you uses the words acceptable, safe levels of, put in whatever you want, that shit is bad for you. Trust me. Do not believe them. It's always, it's an acceptable level of DDT. Right? Acceptable level of Agent Orange. We're not even sure if Agent Orange is cancerous. It's an acceptable level of lead. It's an acceptable level of radiation. Y'all are lying. They're always lying like that.
Well, the other clue is if they change the levels that are safe and tell you that raising them is okay, you know something's going on.
Yeah, it never goes in the other direction. When they're like, oh, it turns out I'm just going to lower it turned out, I guess it does. Like, we eventually figured it out, right? Where, it turns out Agent Orange is bad for you.
I think the only way, to really, to help save the Fukushima situation, and this sounds fucked up, is to blow it up and drop it down to the bottom of the ocean.
I don't know what we're gonna do.
That'd be logically, there's less aquatic life at the bottom of the ocean, so the effects would be a lot less. I think the dispersion of the gamma radiation would be a safer level to most of the ecosystem, but to have it at the top surface level where it can just travel around the globe,
Well, dude, they should have dammed it off, so, pushed the ocean back, dammed it off, covered the thing in concrete. I mean, there was a way to save it.
That's what they did in Chernobyl.
Yeah, you didn't have to be pumping water on it and dumping all that shit into the ocean for 6-7 years. That's freaking crazy, man.
seems like okay, we figured out the nuclear bomb. I dig that. This radiation thing seems to be a huge problem, but we never seem to be able to get the greatest minds in the world to be like, can you just make something that sucks up radiation? Is that super hard?
Yeah, it actually is. I mean, like,
Now,
usually when you're dealing with like gamma radiation from uranium, what is it, uranium 232, whatever the fuck they were using. Usually the further you are from the source, the more it's dispersed, the safer it is. But you're still getting exposed to the radiation, so.
I just have a sneaking suspicion if we put $1 trillion into research, we could figure out a way how to actually get rid of radiation.
I'm sure there is something out there that we haven't invented yet that could absorb radiation like that, but the technology just doesn't exist yet.
Yeah, I'm almost positive there is. It
Oh,
doesn't seem like it's
yeah.
super in, but yeah, I'm almost positive there is. I mean, like the reactions that we're talking about, yes, the like getting it to work, getting a nuclear reaction to go off is extremely difficult to get the original process. Yeah, but I mean, we know how it works. We know why radiation spreads the way that it does, right? This is a problem that we could outthink if we put our minds to it. Something that I don't think that they're trying to think.
Yeah, I don't think this is something that any company is really dumping any hundreds of billions of dollars into, is to design something that would absorb nuclear radiation. I just don't think that's in it for anybody.
Well, you might be able to concentrate it somehow.
Yeah, I would
But then
imagine.
you still have the problem. You could reduce it, but then you still have to get rid of it.
Yeah, I would imagine you would be able to concentrate it somehow, or stop that reaction from continuing on. The vibration of those atoms that would be fine. I would just mean at some point we're gonna have to quit being monkey, right? We're gonna have to just like move on from that and like evolve into the world that's around us. Like we can't be doing this forever. Like you got nuclear radiation just leaking into the sea because you're too fucking stupid to figure out the process.
Well,
Yeah,
what I don't think is that anybody's willing to do what they did in Chernobyl, is to build a 120, I don't even know how many megatons it was, is to design that's what they did in Chernobyl, is they basically put a cement bubble over it that will only last 200 years, and then they're going to have to replace it and put another cement bubble on top of it.
It's already well past its expected date. It should have crumbled ages ago. It is just pure fucking luck that the Russians gave like 120% in putting in there. So to build this concrete dome around Chernobyl, the firefighters and guys and engineers, they just worked it until they dropped over dead. I think the last one died 5 or 6 years ago, the guys that worked on it. And knowing they were going to be irradiated for the country or whatever, they continued to work and put this concrete shell on it. But it was only designed to hold it temporarily in like 10, 20-year time. And it is went way beyond that. We literally are just waiting for it to melt all the way down and irradiate the rest of Europe. But
Well,
of nuclear, the process of nuclear reaction is not like mind-boggling. You hear what I'm saying? Like it's a formula that we can write down that anybody can reproduce, whether you're in a cave in Afghanistan, right, or at a nuclear facility in the U.S. This is not a difficult process. You guys should be able to find out a way to deal with radiation. We've got quite a bit of it in our environment now. Like, quick.
Yeah, what I'm thinking is that there was a key flaw in most nuclear power plants, is that when the technology was invented, nobody ever thought of well, there were people that thought of it. It wasn't a very well it wasn't put out there as much, as that what happens when these things fail. And we're dealing with power systems that are similar to power sources that we deal with, in solar systems and stars, and we are just not. We are technologically, we're not at the level where we can deal with this kind of.
Oh, we easily could be, and there are ways that system in France is just about to go online, and that is basically a cold fusion like system. So even if it's one of those, it's a failsafe. So even if it melts down, nothing really happens. That system is supposed to be coming online in France. The systems are exactly that. They were designed to be flawed. Their original design was flawed. How they work is extremely inefficient. It was a government money grab that did a really great technology, but the technology itself of fusion of fission is not beyond man's control. But we're gonna have to do more with it than just boil water.
Well, the other thing is you can't leave it in the care of these corporations, even like government run utilities. Like Tokyo Electric Power, don't seem to give a shit about running it correctly.
Wasn't there?
They don't care.
I heard a story from Fukushima where they were some of the nuclear waste was people were picking that up in buckets and like shoveling it off. So like, these were workers, and this is like a total situation that I think that is very plausible.
I would not be surprised where they whether they were wearing protection against radiation or not. I don't know, but think there's no difference in corporations and the same assholes with the whales. And look at all of the dirty tricks they pull with any other energy conglomerate around the planet. They all do. The coal oil companies or the coal companies, they play all sorts of games and don't really clean shit up. They all pretty much do this. I see it as being just one more, like they knew in some sense that this was eventually going to happen. And yeah, I would see them, go around and pick up all of the loose radioactive material that you see in the area before we run the inspectors over. That's
Yeah, they don't care. No, it's that corporate structure. I mean, when it gets bad enough and it's just all about the bottom line and lying and denying and playing the whole legal game, this is what you get. A group of people like a government that don't care about you. They don't even care about and this is a big one is spraying all this radiation around. I mean, that is just straight up crazy.
Oh yeah, and then they're gonna sell your cancer medication. You think they give a fuck? And it's one of those things like, oh well, you polluted all of the Atlantic Ocean and probably poisoned most of the world, or all of the Pacific, probably poisoned most of the world. And your answer to that is like, okay, fine, I'll step down. Just give me my retirement and I'll leave. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
As you see, those iodine pills won't help you for anything except for fucking like thyroid cancer.
Well, that's a short term. Yeah, you're drinking this shit all your life.
That's a common joke that goes around is, when you get exposed to like nuclear fallout, they tell you to take iodine tablets that only protects you against thyroid cancer. not against the gamma radiation actually destroying your DNA.
I'm sure there's a government paper out there saying that it gives you that it allows you to remain into safe levels of radiation.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure you're actually right.
Yeah, because that's like the only thing they can do. They have to fluff it up, which is still, like you just say, is a nothing. You're still going to die. You just won't
die of thyroid cancer.
Yeah.
Way. But by the way, here is the for when you do get cancer. They've got a medication that they will charge you a huge amount for. Don't worry. We got you.
Well, that's why your hair, teeth, and nails fall out, is because the gamma radiation is destroying your DNA.
I thought I was going to turn into the Hulk. This is bullshit.
Hollywood.
I didn't get super strength. All I got fucking cancer.
What else do I have? I had some other stuff on my agenda. Let me see.
Going on in the world recently. Do we
Canadian weed workers are being denied access into the United States. Also, USA is banning people with cannabis crimes into the United States. And I think that there's a controversy with the Canadian cannabis industry coming into the USA because it is a flourishing industry, and they don't want foreign. It has nothing to do with whether it's legal or not. I think that they don't want a foreign nation meddling with an industry in the United States.
Have you not dealt with the U.S. and drug dealing? This is the U.S. government, right? Every bit of drugs that come into the U.S., Daddy gets a taste. I'm saying, trying to get it here.
I thought it was funny. It's like usually you don't hear about stuff north of the border, but now we are.
Well, if it's a drug that comes across the border, we want a little bit of that.
No, they literally don't know. It's not the drugs that are coming over the border. They don't want people that are involved in the industry to come over the border.
This is the lead into you've had a weed crime or something, so you don't get to travel. This is it's more than just what it looks like now. This is how you lead into, okay, we can target these people who were allegedly part of some industry that we don't necessarily care for, but we put up with. But at the same time, we're going to censor you and limit you in all these other ways so that you can't do things, you can't travel, but that will lead. So it's weed related. So then now it's going to be, oh well, you were thrown in jail for weed. Well, you can't travel either.
You own a weed shop in Vancouver. Now you're not allowed to travel over the border.
On a fire,
right? Or guns or any of it. So we just have to come up with a reason. You have to come up with some bullshit reason to do yet something more tyrannical. You notice that there's always a problem solution. Oh, we have this problem, therefore we have to throw all these people in jail. It's always the same crap,
That's always the solution.
Yeah.
Well, cannabis will be legal in the middle of federally legal in Canada in, I think, the 15th.
And we're coming up pretty close. A lot of have referendums coming up and votes coming up where it's front and center. So I think there is a change. There's probably a little bit of a crash grab going on is well, that they want to get as many people in prison for X crime as possible while it's still a crime. But on the same thing, when it comes to these kind of issues, it's important to see what they're doing. They will section off a small and then there's the next group. Well, the small group that you arrested the first time, they can't do anything about it. You've already taken their rights, so they can't even fight for the next group, right? And slowly but surely, they start taking everyone out, and by the time you look around, like you see now, there's Alex Jones, and that was a big joke, and all of the fun memes. Well, look, if you were an alternative media, right-wing asshole, well, now they've taken down Breitbart, they've taken down James Woods, they've taken down
Unicorn Riot, they've taken down the Fifth Column, they've taken down they are taking down the anti-media.
These aren't small networks. But
no, they're not.
No.
Normally, whether you like it or not, when they took down a couple of those, Alex Jones probably would have mentioned it. And you would have gotten people who were outside of your echo chamber. Right? So all of us are, all of us think like, so a lot of the people you think alike, but when it gets into those things and you have people that were on the right that normally do not agree with you on everything, we're like, oh, I heard Unicorn Riot got took down, or police, it's their First Amendment right to speak out, blah, 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 blah. You start getting outside. You do the exact opposite, where they've done a really good job at trying to section you off and take your rights from all of us at the same time. Like, that's the point of it. I got
now in the Canada case, it's a big grab for for the bigger companies, and they're shutting out a lot of mom and pops. They won't give them licenses to work in the new system. only the big guy gets to,
Yep.
or the bigger guys. So there's a big switch going on. It's a big scheme to run the little mom and pops out and now jail them and keep them from traveling and all the rest of the shit. You know, it's all part of their game. That's why they're pissed off, really pissed off at Trudeau, because a lot of the weeders were pushing for lefties this time in Trudeau, thinking that, oh, this is our guy. He's going to help us get the legal weed and all this, blah, blah, blah. And all he did is turn around and fuck them.
Yeah, like this, like, and I've wanted to support Trudeau. I really do feel. I would have liked him to stand with the people. He's got like, there's nothing back. You know what I mean? He's liked by everyone. They voted for him because of his progressive, you know, thoughts, you know, speeches and all sorts of shit from native treaties, you know, to issues like this with free speech and all of that. And then when he comes out, God, he just starts working for. He's like the Canadian Obama.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No sitting back. The people would have supported you, and you spent the whole time like standing for the same corporate puppets that everyone else was standing, that you railed against. And it's like kind of disheartening, because I thought, come on, this guy's different, right? He's young, he's fucking energetic, he's part of the, you know what I mean? He's part of the what we want the world to look. Nah, still same.
No. Well, because he's from a dynasty family.
Yeah,
His dad was PM, 20, 30 years ago. So, and he's a pretty boy, so we need to bring him on because he's tied together politically. And, you know, it was a bad move. You know, he's a putz.
Every time.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you wonder. They know exactly the personalities to put in these positions, because they know with any little pressure at all, they can push him exactly where they want to go. Because he's not going to fight back. He's not going to do it.
Obvious. It's just,
Yeah.
it's hard to convince people of it, even when it's right in front of them. You know, they get caught up in the, you know, they get caught up in like emotionally connected to their political parties or whoever their guy is, and then they can't see them doing anything wrong, even when it's right in front of them.
Oh yeah.
Let me see what's going else is going on.
Well, now the flip side, you know, Trudeau essentially bailed out the oil companies because they were getting their pipeline shut down. So now the government's going to take it over. But then, of course, he's involved, and they're calling it Trudeau Oil or something. Now you just know that he's going to be stealing, or he's going to be on that corporate board at some point when he steps out.
Like, it's
You know,
one of those
Uh,
trust a person that's their name in oil. That is probably one of the most evil companies on earth. You will never
Yeah.
you will never find anonymous oil.
He's turning on turning on his whole base. I mean, so they're the weeders. They got sacrificed. Oh, you stuck it to all the natives and you're the anti-oil people, you know, because they thought they were voting for you because you were anti-oil. Well, all of a sudden he's Mr. Oil, you know. It's just like, wow, man. I mean, it's incredible.
100% believe that we should respect all treaty law. Look, guys, we have to start believing these assholes. They have never, ever, 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 ever stuck with a treaty. Ever. Ever. Quit fucking trusting them. When they hand you a treaty, fucking spit on it.
Yeah, it's just strange when you look at it objectively, kind of from the outside. It's like, why do these same tricks work over and over and over? And they're the same tricks that they were using on you 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 5 years ago. You never learned.
Well,
It's the same trick every friggin' time.
It's always the same game, which is sad. Like, some of these things we have been playing for a while. The media game, the censorship game, right? This isn't a new game. We've been playing this cat and mouse game forever, right? The people go to speak up, you try to shut them down. People go to speak up, you try to shut them down. Like, this is the game, right? Like, at what point do you wake up and figure it's not going to help you by giving all of your money to the rich? Wake the fuck up. Like, ever. It never has. It never will. We'll get pyramids and shrines and fucking statues, but food in your belly. But it's like people don't. I don't. They'll fucking fall right back into it every time.
Yeah, I mean, it's just It's proof of the corrupted genes and just how bad the human psychology is, that you fall for the same shit every time. What does that tell you about yourself? You're fucking stupid. You know, that's the only conclusion you can come to.
Yeah.
And it's not like there's a huge gap. It's like, oh yeah, that was 20 years ago. It's like, no, man, they were screwing you a month ago, a year ago, last week. It never changed, and you still don't get it. You know? It's impossible.
Like we have put. I think that people inherently want to be trusting. They want somehow built into us. There is that like want to have a good leader. Like I don't know what it is. I think you're right in some of it, that it's like built into the human psyche, that it is part of us. But those leaders don't always exist. In a lot of cases, most cases don't.
Shit. Yeah, they don't. It's a major failure of the brain to override some innate hope, because that's really all it is. It has to be tied to hope. You just believe that, you know, it's going to be different this time. Well, why do you believe that? You know, because history's telling you you're going to get fucked. You get fucked every time. That's the history.
Yeah,
and yet this time's going to be different. Oh, really? Oh, okay. Yeah. With the hope and the honest belief that it is going to be different this time. It's like, wow, where does that come from, man?
Oh yeah, I kind of think in the right now, and it's like, yeah, the Republicans are being complete jackasses right now. But you know what? Right before them, the Democrats were complete and utter fucking jackasses before them, and you're still buying into the same system.
Yeah. So let's get tribal, and we'll do like at the Kavanaugh, we'll all pick sides and act stupid. Meanwhile.
Well, hey, look at the silly monkey. Like, I think that's Trump's biggest skill. He can come out and say the stupidest shit on TV, and that's all real.
He
right?
knows.
Yeah, Trump can say like, I eat paint chips and love to watch dumb shit on TV, and nobody would say anything.
No, they'd be winning bigly, and you know, I mean, they'd be winning.
Yeah, one of the biggest storms ever recorded on record smacks into the bottom of the U.S. We really are not set up to deal with that. So you know what? Call Kanye West, right? Let's have a little sit down and talk about jack shit, right? And that's on every single channel instead of like the truth, like what's actually going on. Fucking
you know, this Trump guy is a marketing specialist, right? And in marketing, it's very important for your name to be mentioned, even if it's negative. He just wants to be on TV full time. Like he wants him to be remembered.
4 minutes. 4 minutes.
Yeah, even bad press. Bad press is better than no press at all.
Yeah,
that's the rule. Yeah. So either way, whether he does something good or bad, he's covered. But he understands your psychology. That's the difference. He understands the psychology so that he knows he can lie to you, and you're so fucking stupid that you're going to believe it. That's what he understands about your psychology.
You look at the New York Times, right? He derails about the New York Times constantly, but actually, he's made the New York Times so much money. He made himself so much money off of it, right? And like people buy into it. Oh, the failing, but you're talking about it. You're saying it, and you're doing that on purpose. You know, and it has to do with that same dollar, but you're falling into it. Before we go, real quick, and that whole Stormy Daniels fucking blah 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 bullshit, where they're laying in bed, like everything was such bullshit, right? They're laying in bed watching Shark Week, and Hillary Clinton calls, and they talk about the plan, right? That is probably the most important sentence that you will hear in the fucking, you know, in a porn star's book. Everybody talking about his dick and blah 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 shit that doesn't matter. What the fuck did Hillary Clinton do calling you at your hotel room?
They're old friends from way back. That's what everybody forgets. He's a progressive liberal friend of the Clintons from way back. Everybody's forgotten that somehow. And they still are. They still are friends. That's the key, you know.
But he got distracted on bullshit in that story, and I was like the only person going on like, wait a minute. What's the plan? Like that's what's important. Like you
Yeah,
were there, you were saying like whatever, you got books to sell. What the fuck was the plan? And that starts leading us into like some actual research. You figure, look, even if I lose to Trump, he'll be so horrible, you'll have to vote for him. You'll vote for me no matter who.
Well, the plan was the cover-up plan. The plan is to do nothing to Hillary and Bill and for all their crimes. You know, that's the plan. You know what the plan is, Donald, right? Or else we're going to come out with all your dirt.
All right, guys, 2
Which
minutes.
is, you know,
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Do we got anything in the comments before we take off here? I know, like I tried.
Let me see. Wait a sec says hi.
Wait a sec. Where you been?
You're late this time, wait a sec.
Yeah.
Glad you're listening.
No, we actually have a lot of people listening, and I was reaching like people that I didn't even expect to be into it. Are like, and so I know we've got so many more people watching than what's showing up, which is both to keep that from being shown and inspiring it that we've got people that are watching even though it's showing them. You know, to be honest, the people that are watching, there's probably a couple hundred people watching, if not a couple thousand people watching. Like we know about it.
Well, yeah. And to our viewers, I would say that a lot of, depending on what platform you're using, the numbers that you're seeing on the views are skewed, and that's done deliberately on certain platforms because we have been warned of some of the information that we have put out. One in particular is Facebook. We've been warned about the materials that we put out go against some of the things that they hold, explain their algorithms and whatnot. But oh shit, we only have 30 seconds, guys. Say whatever you want to say.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for listening, and till next week.
Yeah, always. We'll see everybody on Thursday. It was another great show. I hope we got some good information out. Yeah, just comment. We're always around. Feel free to message us. Set up interviews. We're always around.
All right, and I'm rolling out with.
Hereby declare this to be an unlawful assembly.